kid, it's the 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 kid. What up, guys? What's up? It's the main man here, Double H, trying to live, trying to exist, trying to stay alive, trying to be real. So here we are on this lovely, beautiful Sunday. Hopefully everyone is doing well in this whole crazy self-isolation thing. So, before we actually get into sort of our main topics and so forth, I want to just pretty much go around the room and just say to everybody, like, how have you been coping with your self-isolation? So I'll start with A1. A1, how has self-isolation been going with you? A1. Hello, A1? Okay. Tara, what about you? How self-isolation been?
It's been a mixed bag. I've been self-isolating for 2 weeks since my school canceled. I mean, it's okay in the fact that I get to sleep in quite a bit, and there's not as much like work to do and all that kind of stuff. Um, but it's become way more boring without football, and it's just kind of boring without the general just sort of how things go, because you get to talk to more people when you're going to school and stuff like that. So it's a bit more boring in that way. I've
So
been
how have
trying.
you been keeping yourself occupied then?
Yeah,
Gaming,
I've been keeping
watching film?
myself occupied. I've been doing some work, some academic work, playing excessive amounts of Football Manager, exercising. I've been on treadmill every
Oh,
day for the most part. So yeah, it's mostly I've been keeping myself occupied. It's okay, though I cannot. Though trust me when I say I cannot wait for when this whole.
oh no. It can't be all. Can't be all. All right. A1, what about you? How have you been coping with this self-isolation? What have you been doing?
You know what? Yeah, it's obviously I've been doing the norm, so doing like work, doing home workouts, going for walks when I'm allowed to. But as well as that, I've been watching old football matches,
Mm.
and I managed to face my fears. I watched the Champions League 2006 final, Arsenal against Barcelona, because I haven't watched that since we lost. I've watched a few highlights of the match, but I thought, you know what? I've got the time. Let me face my fears and see what exactly went wrong. And it's crazy, man.
Oh,
It's
no,
crazy.
because basically that's actually what I am actually going to try and do because I know because Daniel, so look, he basically showed me a site where you can watch all old games. So what
Oh
I'm going
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
doing is basically doing a post match analysis of like Champions League
Classic
finals and
matches.
some of the great games. Basically, because it's good just to revisit
Yeah,
those games and watch them in full.
yeah,
But
definitely.
I'm never going to watch like the Nigeria Denmark World Cup 98 game and. Don't you even dare take me to the Nigeria South Korea 2010. Hell no. Hell no. Hell of flipping no. All right. Your boy Abdullahi, how have you been coping with self-isolation, bro?
Yeah, bro, man, it's been tough, man. But like, been doing assignment upon assignment, essays upon essays, like doing some stuff. But it's been really good. Like, just kind of working at Starbucks and everything. It's been very, very tough. But so far, so good. It's been good. Though. It's been good. Like, not too many stuff, but it's been real good.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Lee S?
Yeah, it's been last few days been living in self isolation since work came to an end because I work in a school, so it's been pretty tough, pretty boring. Been playing some Red Dead Redemption, which is pretty fun as always. Like you, A1, I've been watching some old football matches as well, and the 2012 Champions League final was something that I didn't really enjoy because I'm a Bayern Munich supporter. Probably don't know that. But playing FIFA 20, which is pretty fun. Apart from that, yeah, just trying to be safe down here in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah. No, because again, like for the part-time work that I do, we've been obviously covering the whole coronavirus thing for our TV thing, and yeah, Australia is definitely that's a big issue there that they've been having. Alok, what about you? How have you been?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm currently in India. So today's day 5 of our government forced lockdown actually. So I'm started cooking actually. So I'm learning a lot of new recipes from my mom. And unlike some people, I have to work from home because I work in tech industry. So like they have given me a laptop, so I can't like not work. So I don't have time to do other things. And I started watching Death Note actually. So this is like my very first anime. So I'm pretty intrigued.
Well,
That's it.
no, but because again, that's why it's like I'm so happy that my mom taught me how to make stew and so stuff. So helpful, so helpful, man. So
Yeah,
helpful.
you should know basic things, man.
Oh no, no. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I say. That's what maybe I want to like. I'll probably bring in the cooking show and so forth.
Yeah.
Like re-upload that stew video because trust me, because again, nobody's is going to think of buying. People are just buying toilet rolls and fail. If you just buy yourself some tin tomatoes, some onions, some regular ass noodles and stuff, you're good. Trust me, you're good. Stew works with anything. Rice, noodles, everything works good. All right. So before we obviously get into the whole Cristiano thing, I do think that we should always revisit this topic because I think this will always be a rolling topic, which is when do you think football is going to come back?
They said June to July, and everything should be finished by July.
But let me get to it. But see, where we are at right now is there was a report that says July. So so Premier League have come out and said that they feel that it's going to be July when they feel like they can get back to playing football in the Premier League. Spain have said that we're going to now suspend the season indefinitely. In Italy, there are people that are angry at the Football Federation saying that why are you so bothered about it? Because again, things are going. Spain is getting worse. Italy has been the worst place in the world, pretty much. So guys in Italy have said, wait, why are you guys even thinking of getting football back on the pitch? It ain't happening. For that shouldn't even be a thought because this may be like a 4, 5, 6 month thing. But we now had there was a press conference in the UK where like the health minister said, you know what, we will keep reviewing the situation every 3 weeks, but this is going to be looking like a 6 month thing. So they said, 6 months. Because she said, don't hold me to anything. All I'm saying is that I'm just throwing it out there that 6 months could be a possibility. So if you throw 6 months in there, bruh, forget about finishing off the season and so forth. So, okay, so before I go to so my view is this. I believe that a realistic month when we can start popping off, I believe, is September. That's what I believe. Now, I think that July is being unrealistic. That's just what I feel. I feel July is being unrealistic. So I think September is the thing. And I think if September is the thing, I would like the season to be finished. But I've heard arguments as to the danger of contracts and things and voiding the next season and how that will affect things. But it is what it is. So A1, when do you think we will finish the season? When do you think football is going to get back, or it's an impossible question to answer?
To be honest, overall, it's an impossible question to answer simply because like the different countries are in different situations, and I do feel like right now with how Italy being worse, I do feel, for example, here in England, it won't be. I don't think it'll be as worse as Italy, but it will get worse, innit? And the whole plus it depends on the government and what they want to do as well, and how if they want to. Like you heard today, like how the whole self-isolation or the lockdown will go until the end of June, but the whole social distancing will be like in October, and then you've got the Football Federation, whatever they are, trying to force it and trying to say July, play games behind closed doors, and I'm pretty sure the players won't feel comfortable enough to be doing that because at the end of the day, they're still humans. They may be football players, but they're still humans. So to be honest, I don't know, but I don't see it being finished as let's say July or by August, whatever. I don't see it being finished by then. So, yeah.
Okay. Sarah.
I don't know.
All right. So I don't think we can complete the season, honestly speaking, because in China the thing, of course we can't trust everything completely, but in China it was I think 3 months, 3.5 months, around that much. But China took like drastic measures, like the quarantine, like a bunch of people. They built like hospitals very quickly. They did all those kinds of things. They're not going to do those same things in Italy and Spain, of course. I heard they're running out of things like ICU beds in Italy. So the situation, I think, will take longer to resolve in Europe than it will in China. So seeing as in Italy it started mid-February, late February, and then it started in early March, mid-March, the rest of the countries, I think we should say a minimum of 4 months. So I think we can be looking at maybe 5 months, and I'd say the earliest month, like the absolute best earliest month that we can get back to starting football, is August. But even then, you still have to have like a mini preseason to get the players sort of like accommodated, fit again, and sharp again. And I mean, um, I just think it's a bit too impractical to finish out the season, to be honest. And then, of course, the contract issues and all those kinds of things. So, what I think should be done is that they should just, as much as I don't want it to be done, just void the season and just start as normal in August or September, and and then adjust things like international qualifiers, tournaments as normal. I think that's the best course of action.
All right. Abdullahi, what about you? When do you think the
Yeah.
season will be back?
For me, according to the Daily Mirror said the season
The Daily Mirror is trash, bro, but carry on.
Okay, let's just like what they said, the match should be finished by June. But according to what the EPL are saying, that all match will start by June and earliest in the middle of June, and it has to be finished by July. So in terms of contact situation and the transfer and everything, so they've kind of requested for the FIFA to give them an extended time for them to finish up the July. So the player will be kind of up to like 2-3 weeks rest for them for the preseason, and also the season has to begin by August, earliest August, maybe like middle of August or ending of August. So you are telling us that the match is gonna you're telling us all matches will be resumed by June and it has to finish July. So contract situation has to be sorted out because the FIFA is kind of extending the transfer should be finishing by September. So I think they're gonna be extending that date to like something like October ending, something like that, for team to buy players because of the coronavirus. So I think they're gonna be a maximum date for the transfer to be extended from September, maybe back to October. So for them to accommodate the season to be
So do you think the season will be finished, or do you think they'll scrap the season?
For me, I'm not being biased on Liverpool fans, but they have to finish the season. The new season can't start without the season finishing. I don't care anybody being top of the table. The season has to finish first before the new season. You can't void the season and give Liverpool the title. What about other people? Like they didn't win the title, they were awarded a gift. So it's not good enough. Let this if it's gonna be behind closed door, understood. Behind closed door, yes. It's
No, that can happen. Oh, okay, all right, okay. Juju man.
Oh yes, the season is over according to me. The season is over. The one reason is I'll use your advice. You once say that you always factor in the worst case scenario. So worst case scenario, I honestly don't believe the season will go on. But they're saying June and everything. If it goes on, it'll be good. But as far as I mean, because I think the easiest solution is ending the season, because if you continue, it'll have like a change. I mean, it will affect the preseason and starting with the other season. So
but people have said that. Why don't you just make the next season shorten the next season?
No, because I mean that's cash. You can't tell companies to throw away cash. I mean, so it's like the best solution, according to me, is look at the tables right now. Call the champions the way they are. But I mean,
no. You can't award people like that stuff. No way. Come on.
Yes, you can. I mean, I guess they'll wait until June, but I don't expect the season to go on because end the season now. Give the players a break. By the time it's early July, they're coming back, and they're coming back with the new season. You can.
Okay. So you're saying that just end. You're saying the season is over. It's just end.
It's over. Like
okay.
I'll be shocked if it continues. It's over.
Okay. Lee S. Where do you stand on this?
Look, it's $1 million question, and we know that this virus has affected the majority of Europe during the winter. The thing is, who knows what it's going to be like during your summer? If anything like what happened here happens in Europe during the summer, then I don't honestly think that the season will continue. I mean, you look at Italy now, which is the epicenter of this whole thing. 500 people dying every night. And I think it was the other week where Dybala was diagnosed as having COVID-19. So like what you were saying, A1, I think it was, we're all susceptible to this. Just because we're international footballers doesn't mean that we cannot get this. And I suppose if they were to continue playing, it defied the purpose of social distancing, wouldn't it? Seeing players, share drink bottles and tackling one another and celebrating goals together. So look, I honestly don't think that they'll get back until August, September latest. But like Juju Man was saying, if that does happen, it's going to affect the following season. And we know with the Euros being postponed to next season, it's going to affect that as well. So look, it's $1 million question, as I said. If I was to give a rough estimate or an answer, an educational answer, it'd be probably August, September, I'd say, but
okay,
who knows?
All right. So Alok, just keep it brief so we can get to our main topic. So just briefly, when do you think the season will come back? If not, when? Alok.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to speculate. I'm just going to look into the evidence, and the only evidence we have is China. So they locked down Wuhan on 14th of Jan, and by 24th of March, within 2 months, they said there are no more new cases. So it takes 2 months for you to completely shut down a city and recover everyone. So so we have April, May. So if UK decide to completely lock down the entire country, within 2 months you can have everyone like recovered. There will be no new cases. So you can look at a potential July, behind the closed door matches. That is the only possibility I can say right now.
Okay.
Do you believe everything that comes out of China? That's the thing. Sorry, HH. But the thing is, do you believe everything that comes out of China? The communist country.
No. I know the thing about China though is that what I read was that they opened some places and they then closed it again. So Wuhan reopened some theaters and they then closed it again. So there hasn't actually been a country that has 100% been fully pandemic free yet. No country that has had like a high number of cases has come out and said we are fully free of this disease. So China isn't like free flowing now. So so no one is has fully come out of the woods. No country, which is why it's so worrying. Mr. Raul.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So in my opinion, I would say, the season would probably not finish, but because if you have it behind closed doors, you still need the NHS people as well, which is a burden in the NHS. So I don't see that happening. And also the fact is, it's already April now, and the government said today it's at least 6 months until there could be 6 months until social distancing stops. So the players are probably not going to agree to it because it's risking their safety as well. So yeah, I agree that no one's immune to the virus.
Okay, and round us off, Muntaha, man.
Bro, for me, bro, I believe that season is done and dusted. I mean, it's over, man. I mean, for at least for domestic competitions, bro. I mean, for La Liga, it's next to impossible to play, bro. 5,000 deaths. Are you kidding me, bro? I mean, is football really bigger than lives?
No,
I'm sorry,
not.
man. So it's not happening anymore. I believe. I believe same goes for Italy, France, and in England as well. So I don't think so we can see, but there is like slight I'll say possibility with respect to UCL, and there are reports coming out from UEFA and from UEFA president, what's his name, Alexander Shekrin or something like that. He said that there is a possibility where we can continue with the tournament in the closed door, one leg of affairs in quarterfinal, semi-final, final. I mean, it's just might be pretty much 7 games you have to play. Might be closed door, relocate the tournament somewhere else. Might be, but it's still highly unlikely, So I mean, domestic season is over. Domestic season is over, I believe. So man.
Okay. All right. So let's now go to our main topic here that I thought that it's a nice one to roll with. Now, before I sort of go over to you guys now, I mean, people keep saying that this whole thing, why do you keep going on? But then Cristiano, the goats, the stats. I don't think we've ever had a discussion like this where it's been like a back and forth. Where let's have a conversation. Let's have this debate, because this is always where I stand, and I will explain my platform before we now have a discussion about this. My thing is, I always say Cristiano is one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. But calling him one of the greatest players makes no sense because he simply isn't in the same class of a Maradona or of a Zidane, who you would view them as two of the greatest players to have ever played the game based on their ability, their impact on the game, what they've done on the pitch, and their achievements both for club and for country as well. So that's where I stand. For me, I said, you can't call a guy who is more purely a goal scorer an amazing player. That makes no sense because Cristiano simply doesn't have the kind of all-round footballing game that a Maradona has or a Zidane has. Where you look at Zidane and Maradona, these are complete footballers. They don't rely based on just one skill or asset. They're complete footballers. So a great goal scorer is different from a great player. A great defender is different from a great midfielder. These are different things. So when you just say GOAT overall, GOAT is greatest of all time. Like Michael Jordan is a GOAT of all time. So Michael Jordan is not the greatest sense or thingy. He's just the GOAT. So let me start off first with Mr. A1. So A1, do you see Cristiano as a GOAT or one of the greatest of all time?
Oh yeah, easily, man. Easily. Come on, man.
Okay,
Easily.
and okay. Please explain your position.
All right, cool. You say that he's the greatest goal scorer of all time and what?
Yeah. Wait. Cool. One off. Yes, one off.
At one of, yeah, cool. But at the same time, you need to remember, like, the fact that he's managed to switch up his game, because I'm pretty sure he knows he's getting old. He knows he doesn't have the same ability that he's had before. So the fact that he's managed to switch up his game and still be able to play at a high level, it shows that, he's a GOAT. Like, not the GOAT, but he's one of the greatest. And the fact that
so you're saying that he's a GOAT because he managed to turn into an attacking weapon into a goal scorer. That makes him one of the greatest.
But probably say again. I didn't hear. Probably say again.
So you're saying that he's one of the greatest because of how he was able to adapt his game to go from an counter-attacking weapon to just being a pure goal scorer.
No, that's part of it. That's part of the reason why he's one of the GOATs.
Okay, so what's the other part? Because that isn't enough. Because again, yeah, sorry, go. Hello, A1.
Say.
I can go after A1.
Okay, he's back. Okay, A1, go for it. Go. Okay, I think he's out. Okay, Jujima.
Yeah, first of all, he's not the GOAT. As far as I'm concerned, Messi's the GOAT. And not because I'm hating. People are saying, oh, he...
Why would he say Cristiano is not the GOAT then?
First of all, I think his position, it doesn't play number 10, and number 10 has a lot of responsibilities, and being a goal scorer only, I mean, you have one objective. He's arguably the best goal scorer, but that doesn't make you the best player ever, because, I mean, if we compare to Messi's contribution is off the charts. So, I mean, we didn't even go to the other legends, but if we compare to a player like Messi, because his name was going to be brought up in this conversation, Messi's just way better. Because first of all, with Cristiano, people say he's adapted his career. As far as I'm concerned, his career is on life support. He's scoring 11 tap-ins, playing in a finished league. I mean, the league is not the best in Europe. But
no, Jujima, no. You don't backtrack. You said a finished league.
Yeah, but it's a finished league, and even if you look at his numbers in the Champions League, it's nothing impressive. His numbers in the league, I mean, he finished 4th, and then so people saying he's adapting, still playing at the top. I mean, he's playing average, but he's good. I guess he's good. But as far as the GOAT, I mean, this is an easy no. He's I would say he's maybe top 5, number 6 around there ever, but. As GOAT, no, he's not a GOAT. And I mean, but I'll end on a positive note. His 2012 performance, I think, next to Messi, below Messi, was the best I've ever seen. Individual performance that 2012 season. It just unfortunate he didn't have a proper manager. But as far as GOAT, no.
Okay. So, Mr. Lee S., where do you stand with Cristiano? Do you count him as one of the GOATs? Mr. Lee. All right. Abdullahi.
Yeah. For me, you there? Can you hear me?
Okay. Wait, Lee. S, is your mic
Yes, you
back?
got me. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yes. Okay, sorry. Okay, Lee, go for it. Go.
Yeah.
Lee.
So when you ask me, is he one of the goats or is he the goat? What's your question?
Would you class him as a GOAT? Because, for instance, Maradona is a GOAT. Zidane is a GOAT. So we can have several GOATs. So people mount Zidane, Pele, Maradona as GOATs based on what they've done in the game, their impact on the game, their playing style, and so forth, and their achievements. So do you put Cristiano in that conversation as one of those GOATs within that parameter?
No, simply because he hasn't won a World Cup. Simple.
So
he had his chance in 2018, where they made it to the round of 16. Unfortunately, they came across a very good Uruguayan side. 2014, they didn't even make the group stage, or out of the group stage from memory. So yeah, he hasn't won a World Cup. Yes, he's won a Euro. He didn't have any contribution to that Euro-winning side against France.
So speak on that, because again, that is one of the big arguments that they use, because people say, "Oh, Cristiano, he's basically excelled in international because he's won a Euro. So why don't you count that Euro as one of his achievements?"
Because you're playing against European sides, and you're not playing against countries outside of the continent of Europe.
And to add, I mean, he was good leading up to the final, but the fact is, he's not the one that actually delivered the title, because it was more of a team effort. He didn't. I mean, he led up. He's responsible for bringing the team to the final, but executing the final. I mean, executing and getting the trophy. He didn't do it. That's the one problem.
That's right. He had a pretty good tournament, but unfortunately, I think he was targeted in that final, and France, that is, they ended up injuring him. And look, not to say that what he achieved in that Euro is nothing, but because he hasn't won a World Cup, and the likes of Pele, Maradona, Zidane, they've all won the World Cup. So if you're going to put him amongst them, I'm sorry, you can't classify him as a GOAT.
Okay. Alok.
Yeah, so I'm going to very brief here. I'm not going to talk about his club achievements, because the only argument against him being one of the GOAT is what he has done internationally, and same is the argument for Messi, right? They both have not won a World Cup. Let me talk about, in 2004 in the Euro, he scored in quarterfinals, he scored in semi-finals. Unfortunately, he lost the 2004 Euro to Greece. I don't know, it's a miracle. In 2006 World Cup, I think in semi-final, he provided a very good ball to Figo, but he missed a very simple tap-in, and Portugal would have been in the final. Now, I want to come to 2016. He scored a hat-trick against Spain. There is no way Portugal would have been qualified out of that group without Cristiano Ronaldo. Now for 2016 Euro, does anyone of here who is present thinks that Portugal would have reached the final without Cristiano Ronaldo? Like, can I get an answer on that?
I don't think they would have.
No. But see, Alok, maybe they wouldn't have, but he definitely had a contribution. But are we now going to deny Pepe's contribution? Quaresma did get the winning goal against Croatia, I believe, in that game. Quaresma was the one that got the winning goal. So, yes, Cristiano played his role. Cristiano didn't literally carry that team by himself all the way to that final. But okay, Alok, even if I give you that, let's say I give you that, the final is the most important game. And he literally had no contribution whatsoever in the final.
But he was injured, Double H.
No.
Like,
no. Wait. But Alok, that's irrelevant. We have to deal with facts. The fact is that you had no contribution in the final. Whether you were injured, whether you were late, we have to deal with facts. Facts is you didn't have any contribution in the final. R9 Ronaldo scored 2 goals, World Cup 02. Zidane scored 2 goals in the France 98 World Cup final. Maradona provided the key assist in the 1986 World Cup final. These are guys who had a major contribution in the main final. I believe Platini even scored in the final. So if you didn't have any contribution in the main Euro final, how can we now say, because you have so many Instagram followers, that you won that Euros? You had a contribution, but you didn't have the key contribution.
Scoring in the final is the only thing you're going to look at. is that the like definitive? If you did not score in
Alok,
final, you're not the
no,
GOAT.
Alok, you're not listening to what I'm saying. It's not about looking at the only thing. Of course, it's important about taking you over there, but we're now talking about GOATs, and we're not talking about. And I mentioned the names: Zidane, Maradona, Pele.
Okay,
These guys have
I understand the question.
had major contributions in a
Correct.
final, because that is the full stop and the tying of the ball of yes, GOAT. That was your GOAT moment. You showed up in the biggest game.
Okay, let me ask you a counter question. Let's imagine for a second, Pele, Maradona, Zidane would not have scored in the final, and they still would have won. Do you think people will consider Pele, Maradona, and Zidane still the GOAT?
No.
Would you consider them?
No.
You will not consider them as GOAT.
No. no. But
Yes.
look, the very reason
Nah, man.
why they are seen as GOATs is because despite how amazing they were, despite on their impacts, we can look at their golden moments. Wow, I remember when Zidane scored those 2 goals in a final. Wow, I remember when Pele scored 2 goals in 2 different World Cup finals. Wow, I remember when Maradona provided the key pass in that 86 final, because despite what you do with whether you want to talk about goals, assists, dribbles, impact, and so forth, you need that's your golden crowning moment. I said, yes, that was your moment. That is what you need your solidifying moments as an individual. Which is why Cristiano doesn't have a solidifying, crowning achievement moment on the level of those names that I mentioned.
Okay, but you also have to look at the teams, right? All these names you mentioned, Pele, Maradona, Zidane, they played for much better teams. I mean, he plays for Portugal, man. That's a country with 11 million people. It's an achievement that he took them to 2 finals. Like, we should be applauding him.
Okay, look, let me respond to that. In 1986, Argentina had only won 1 World Cup on home soil. So you know what? That never counts when you win a World Cup on a home soil, because I always say it's biased. Before 98, France had never won a World Cup. So what pedigree did France have pre-98? How much pedigree did Argentina have pre-1986 when they only won one World Cup on a home soil?
But everyone considered this team to be the favorite, like France.
No, they weren't. No,
Brazil.
The favorites in '98 were Brazil and Holland. But once Brazil got to the final, Brazil were the clear favorite. France were just the hosts. France were not considered. Wait, who the heck was Zidane or Henry in 1998? Nobody really saw them as one of the greats in 1998. So you see what I'm saying here is like these guys had crowning achievements. And Alok, you can't use the example of Portugal was a weak team, and so because if the team was that bad, they wouldn't have made the final. Because again, as many people have said, Pepe played a major role in them reaching that final. So, but let me pass it over to another. So, Tara, where do you stand on this with Cristiano being the GOAT?
So by a GOAT, like what position in all-time players would you be talking about?
No, so listen, when we're talking about the GOAT, I use the examples of a Maradona, a Pele, a Zidane.
Well, I mean, I get the general like mold of players that you're comparing Cristiano Ronaldo to, but it's still a bit vague. But I'll still try and give an answer. I mean, I don't consider him the greatest player of all time, but is he one of the greatest players? I mean, yeah, I think he is. I think he is. In the club game, what is it?
Okay, so why do you see him as one of the greatest players then?
Okay, I see him as one of the greatest players, and you made a point about him being a great goal scorer, but not a great all-around player, like how, let's say, Messi can play make and dribble and all that kind of thing. But you forget that before 2014, Cristiano was a good all-around player. He could dribble, albeit I don't think as well as Messi, but he still could dribble. He had more all-around abilities. He was able to assist more goals. Like, he was doing more on the pitch before 2014, where I think he had a few injuries. I think that's why he changed his game, but I'm not sure. So, yeah, and I mean, even then, he's still...
Okay, let me ask you this then. So during that time, let's even take Cristiano back at the time when he was playing at Man United. So when he was playing at that time, was he being compared to the likes of a Maradona or a Zidane during that time?
Well, I cannot say, but I mean, the guy was only, 22, 23 when he was at his peak.
But then, because again, maybe some people are too young, they don't know. When Messi was coming through 1920, he was already being compared to Maradona. So that's like he was already, people were already comparing it. Oh my gosh, we are now seeing the next true greats. Cristiano at Man United was seen as a really top player. He was not looked at as the next coming, as one of the next greats. He never was. The only guy that was looked at as the next Maradona, the next true great, was Messi. So, but carry on.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, he was a great all-around player, and I mean, he had his moments at that time too. Like, for example, he scored in the, I think, 2008 Champions League final. For example, like, I mean, he had his moments as well. And even as a great goal scorer, like, I mean, if you're scoring that many goals in, let's say, Champions League knockout stage, like, I don't think you could take that away from him. I don't think he's the greatest player. I would put him in like maybe a 5th position or so. But yeah, he has big moments. He's shown up in the big stages. He's at the club level. You can't make too many arguments against him. Only at like ability and maybe consistency as an all-around player are the main arguments you can make against him at the club level, which are arguments that let's say I'd use for Messi because he stayed more consistently an all-around player. But the fact of the matter is, Cristiano has shown up in big games. He has those moments, and he was a great all-around player, and you shouldn't take that away from him. Internationally, I think he's been average, to be honest. I mean, people will say about Euros, Nations League. First of all, no one considers the Nations League relevant unless you're a Cristiano fan, but that's besides the point. And for the Euros, I mean, I agree that Cristiano had a contribution. He was a main leadership figure, and I think that without Cristiano, they wouldn't have made the final. But how much did he really do on the pitch? Like, he scored 3 goals, which, to be fair, made him the second highest goal scorer, I think so, in that tournament. But 2 of them were against Hungary, and 1 of them was against Wales. So, we have to be looking at that. But, I mean, with all he's done...
So he only scored 3 goals?
Yeah. The top scorer was Griezmann with 6.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay, but I digress. Point is, Cristiano, he might not be a great all-around player now. He has great moments. He's done quite a lot in the club game. You can't deny that. Yeah, I'd put him in let's say a 5th or so position. I think that we shouldn't disrespect him as just a goal scorer.
Okay. So let me just take some super chats and then I'm going to come to Abdullahi. So from Yasir Said, thank you very much for your super chats, Yasir Said. He says, if Cristiano had better international teammates, will this have been a discussion? Stop with the bias. Jujuman, shut up. Wow. Cristiano is the greatest player in Champions League history. Now, Said, wait. But Said, look away. First of all, you just said he's the greatest player in Champions League history. Cool. Greatest player in Champions League history does not equate to the GOATs. Second thing is, if he had better international teammates. My thing about it is that at the end of the day, coming into the 2018 World Cup, you were the defending European champions. So the defending European champions, I think in the last 2 occasions have won the World Cup. France in 2000, Spain in 2012. So as the defending European champions, I expect it to be one of the heavy hitters at the World Cup. So if you're defending European champions, your team was obviously good enough. But obviously, Cavani had different ideas. So this is not about me being biased, it's just about just speaking truth. Jujuman, you want to respond?
Yes, I'll respond. First of all, I'm not being biased. Like, I have numbers to back up my claims. I mean, I said he's a great goal scorer. He's not. People say he's the best goal scorer. I'll take that back. I said he was the greatest goal scorer. No, Pele is the greatest goal scorer. When he scored over 1,000 goals, you can tell me being about the greatest goal scorer. Second of all, I'm not biased. People forget Messi is a number 10. He's not even the number 9, and he has better numbers. He has close to better numbers. So when you say that I'm biased, I'm not biased. I mean, if I can give my ranking if you want of the best players, but with Cristiano, I think he's a great. I rank him top. I mean, I revise again. I rank him top 4 players. He's probably 4th in my list. But as far as good, you cannot say he's a good when other people. Pele has a better goal, has more goals than him. Messi has. I mean, Messi's contribution is. He has.
I disagree with that. Bring it up.
I'll come to you.
And the last thing is, I think a lot of people have mentioned his international career has been underwhelming. People claim trophies, Nation League. I mean, who cares about it? He has no weight. There's no weight. And then the World Cup. I mean, he has the Euros. He had a good run, but the final, they say he was injured, but he didn't even look good before he was injured. And and the other thing is, I mean, he's a great player, but he's easily not the best. I mean, he's not the GOAT. There are other like.
Okay. I'll just before I come to Abdullah, let me just take the super chats from Nippon Shama. Is Fabio? Oh, thank you for the super chats, Nippon Shama. Is Fabio Grosso underrated? I'll never forget that G he scored in the 06 semi-finals against Germany at Signal Iduna Park. See, Nippon, the thing about Fabio Grosso is he's not underrated. He was just a guy who shone at a particular moment at that World Cup. That was just his World Cup. So it is what it is. It's the same thing with Maragota. I wouldn't call Maragota a super great player, but he showed up at the big time and was money at the money time. But yeah, arguably one of the best, most underrated World Cup performances was Fabio Grosso in that 06 World Cup. All right, Abdullah, hit it.
Thank you for bringing up this topic. I kind of listen to what people are saying, especially what Jujuman is saying. I'm sorry, Jujuman. I'm not being rude, man. I'm sorry. You have to put Cristiano Ronaldo as number 2 or number 3. I don't care about what Lionel Messi has done in his footballing career. Being biased and telling me Ronaldo hasn't won, Cristiano Ronaldo hasn't. It has been an average in international level. I'm sorry. He may not play well at Euro, but Cristiano Ronaldo name is on the Hero 20. His name was on there. He also won the. Let's not forget. You guys are saying Nation League is like you telling me it's like a friendly match. I'm sorry. Copa America is not that rated as the Hero. Also, there's a difference between Copa America. If Leo Messi has won the Copa America, you guys be saying it's an international football. I'm sorry. Ronaldo has won the Hero, and he has also won.
But Abdullahi. No. Wait. Because you see, I hate this argument. Wait. But let me explain. Cristiano has won the Euro, therefore he's now achieved something internationally in our club. No. But you have to listen to what I'm saying. In the biggest game, you offered nothing. You did 0 in the final.
So what biggest name that Lionel Messi offered in international football? He has not offered nothing.
First of all, I'd like it. Just listen, and then I'll give it to you. Just listen. The fact of the matter is, yes. First of all, this is not between Cristiano and Messi. So let's just focus on Cristiano. I don't want to bring Messi into it, but wait, see, please. When Cristiano won the Euros, but we now have to look at you winning a trophy. We now look and say, what is your contribution? Arbeloa is a World Cup winner. What the hell was his contribution? What's his name? Camoranesi is a World Cup winner. What the hell is his contribution? So Cristiano's contribution for that Euro isn't the same as what Platini did for France. Isn't the same as what Zidane did for France. Isn't the same as what Maradona did for Argentina. Isn't the same as what Pelé did for Brazil. Because I keep saying to people, in the biggest game, you did nothing. 0. Yep. Pepe had to play like a freaking defensive freak, and Pepe was actually the best player at that tournament. Yeah. And Ede was the guy that scored the winning goal. So that's to say what?
Yeah, I get what you're saying about Cristiano Ronaldo not kind of performing well in the Euro. But let's not forget, he was kind of injured in that tournament before even the tournament started. He was literally injured. He played through the injuries. So he came out in 25 minutes because he was injured. You can't tell me because Ronaldo was injured, he didn't kind of perform in the biggest game of the biggest. So if he was fully fit, I can guarantee you one something. If he was fully fit in that Euro final, Ronaldo would have scored 2 Gs.
No. How do you know?
No, how you don't know? It's about consistent level. He's been there. He's been doing it. We know how good he is.
Going to have a bad game. That game, he didn't look sharp. And the one thing is, people are saying, "Oh, Pele scored against nobody." Last time I checked, I saw someone start pad against Granada 10 goals. 5 goals a game. Is Granada now a good team? I saw someone score start pad against Elche. Are those good teams? So people
Granada and Elche. Are you kidding me?
No. Nobody.
Okay. Look, Abdullahi, come on. Okay, wait. Let me just hit the super just and then Abdullahi round off your points. So from David Cote, Maradona is overrated. Zidane is inconsistent. That's why they both have World Cups and Cristiano has none. Abdullahi, finish your point.
Okay. Yeah, you're talking about Ronaldo not being showing up in the biggest game of his entire career in the Euro.
Yeah.
Let's go back to when Ronaldo started playing football from Sporting Lisbon. to Man United. Sporting Lisbon first, it was like the 17 years old and 18 years old people kind of doesn't kind of really rate that much. He left Sporting Lisbon, he went to United. People were comparing Ronaldo to the great R9, if you remember then.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
No. We're comparing him to the great R9 when he was in United.
No,
he left United.
No, they weren't. They were. I fully remember this. Cristiano Ronaldo at Man United was never compared to any of the greats. That never happened. People recognize him as a very good player who could obviously get better. He was never compared as to one of the greats. That never happened at United. It never happened.
Okay, you are telling me now, Ronaldo won the World Cup, but he never won the Champions League, right? So if you are telling me because Ronaldo performed in the World Cup, but he never won, you're gonna tell me he's the greatest. I'm sorry. Cristiano Ronaldo has won 6 Champions League, and Lionel Messi, people are kind of rating ahead of Ronaldo, hasn't even won a Champions League ahead of Ronaldo. I'm sorry. If you want to rate Ronaldo, you gotta put him in top 2, top 3 right now. He's the GOAT. I don't care what people are saying. Cristiano Ronaldo right now is the GOAT. Let's not forget his career at Real Madrid. Ronaldo was the star. He was a phenomenal player in the Real Madrid team. When you have Raúl, take off Raúl, when you have Benzema, Di Maria, Ozil, what kind of player? Those are good players who can feed up Ronaldo. He won the Champions League consecutively, back to back, consistent level. Ronaldo
he had an amazing team.
Lionel Messi has an amazing team in Barcelona. So how many Champions League has he won?
But look, but I would like again. This goes to my point. They both have 2 amazing teams, and that's why I say Champions League is definitely a big thing. Champions League ain't the acid test. The acid test is the World Cup. Cristiano had a team who won the Euros. He did nothing against Uruguay, who threw him out of that thing. But look, let me just I've got to take it to other guys and I'll come back to you. So. Rahul, where do you stand on this?
Yeah, so I say that he's not a GOAT either. As he said, in Real Madrid, he was playing with players such as Benzema, Bale, Cruz, Modric. They all helped him score the goals that he did, and not to mention as well, he was playing some teams which were not a very high standard at the bottom of the league as well. And if you look at those numbers and the goals, I would say a lot of them were from teams you would expect him to score because they're not top teams. Also, when you look at the World Cup, I would say that's the pinnacle. So I think if he hasn't won the World Cup, he cannot be considered the GOAT.
Okay. So wait, Uncle, let me just take the super chats here. From Natsa, Football Hub member, what up? So there's no Cristiano Ronaldo fan, but R9 had a great Brazil team.
Oh my God, this is false, man.
Wait. Okay. Let me just answer this very briefly. Now, this is where don't judge a team on paper. First of all, do you know how amazing that 2006 Brazil team was? Let's see how far they went. If people actually watched the games, Turkey outplayed Brazil in that 0-2 semi-final. Germany outplayed Brazil in that 0-2 final. I watched the full match again, the 0-2 final. Germany outplayed Brazil. But Ronaldo had to somehow pick his team up as an individual and win it for them because they were getting outplayed. Having a great team on paper doesn't mean that a great team will execute on the pitch. Look at the Galacticos. Look at PSG. So don't say to me, oh, because he had a great team, he had it easier. No. How well did they play on the pitch? So Cristiano had an amazing Real Madrid team who played amazingly well on the pitch. So there was never a stage during that three-peat where Real Madrid were trash and horrible. Well, there were a few occasions where Cristiano definitely saved them, but more so than not, the team functioned and worked well. And Cristiano was just there to put the finishing touch. He didn't have the same kind of impact Maradona had in '86 for Argentina or Maradona had in '02 for Brazil. Muntaha.
Yeah, bro. Like for me, bro. Like the question is Cristiano Ronaldo the GOAT? No. I don't think so. He's the GOAT. And like I just want to add one more thing over here. And Messi is also not the GOAT. Okay, because I don't want all this rubbish argument with that. Like Ronaldo, I mean CR7 or LM10. I mean these guys are the GOAT. I'm sorry, not the GOAT, one of the GOAT. Yeah, I agree with that. Secondly, with respect to, because you came up with the argument of Cristiano Ronaldo ability wise, he's not that great. Which over there, HH, you know what? I disagree with you. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, with ability wise, overall throughout his phase of career, I mean, he's a great footballer. When I mean footballer, I mean player, great individual player. If you want a stats to back my claim, then I have a stat where Cristiano Ronaldo attempted 816 dribbles from 2006 till 2019, which is third most highest in world footballs. If you calculate the stats from 2006 till 2019. First, Lionel Messi with 1,800 dribbles. Second, Eden Hazard, 1,200, something like that, 1,200 plus. And third, Cristiano Ronaldo tied up with Iniesta or Frank Ribery. I exactly don't remember. And the source of it is ohmygolnews.com, which they provided the source. It's available on YouTube. You can just go and watch it. If you want, I can drop the links. And secondly, with respect to Ronaldo, for me, Ronaldo has been so versatile player. I believe that he's complete forward from his Man United days, from a right midfielder to left winger to right winger, then from Real Madrid inside forward, left winger. I mean, to played as a striker as well at times. He contributed a lot in terms of every aspect of football, I believe. Okay, not as good as Messi in terms of 90 minutes contribution and impact, or like in the football game, in a football match, but pretty much close. 250 assists. I mean, I think so. It's close to Messi, really close to Messi's figure. And overall, like, I don't know which player has 250 plus assists, and he's not a great footballer. I don't understand. And there have been loads of chance created by Ronaldo. If you want, I can also provide you with that.
Monta, I have a question. How could you be considered the greatest goal scorer of all time when you're 600 goals behind Pele? I just wanted an explanation. How can you be considered the greatest when someone has double the amount of goals you have, career goals?
For me, bro, like if you see Pele's record, right? Okay, I admire Pele a lot.
Yes.
For me, by numbers, he's the greatest player of all time because he won the greatest trophy, which is World Cup, which is not Champions League. Greatest trophy. When I mean greatness is equivalent to winning the greatest trophy, which is World Cup. Okay, and I completely agree on that subject, on that statement. But when you see Pele's stats, more if you dive deep into stats, 600 goals he scored in the friendly. So out of 1,234 goals, 84 goals he scored, 600 goals that was in friendly games. I know back in those days, friendly used to be kind of competitive games. Don't get me wrong over here, but still, it's not a competitive game.
Okay, wait.
I want to finish over here.
Wait, sorry, I'll get back to you. Just some quick super chats, and then I'll get back to you. So from Andaj 3, the 2002 World Cup was embarrassingly rigged. Oh yeah, it was fully rigged, but rigged for South Korea, not for Brazil. Eva Miranda, thank you for the super chat, says most contributions to country in a successful major tournament: 1, David Villa; 2, Maradona; 3, Cristiano. This stats. Wait, where do you get those stats from? First of all, Eva Miranda, you need to be much more clear and concise. First of all, what are the contributions in what sense? Second of all, 2 players on that list actually won a World Cup. 1 person didn't. 1 person didn't even reach a World Cup final. So what's the use then? All right, Montaro, round off your point.
Yeah, so for me, bro, like if you see overall, I believe Cristiano Ronaldo, you cannot give him the title of GOAT, okay? Because that's too much.
Okay, but Montaro, can you put him in the same category as a Zidane or a Maradona?
As a player, I believe yes. Because when we use the word, when we use the word best, I mean, yeah, he's there. But I mean, he's close. I believe him and Messi. I mean, easily. That's not my like. I cannot disagree with over there. But when we use the word, associate the word greatness, because for me, I always use the word greatness is equivalent to winning the greatest competition, which is the World Cup. And you know why World Cup is more like the greatest competition? Because last week we discussed on the subject. It's not UCL. Do you know the host nation, they invest flipping billions of dollars, okay, to promote and to develop that particular tournament just for 1 month. It shows that the prestige of the tournament. Okay, I know that Ronaldo didn't have a great team, Messi didn't have a great team, you know. I mean, but they did. But still, that's my stand. That's my viewpoint. Greatness is equivalent to winning the greatest competition. Which that's why I believe Zidane is GOAT. I believe R9 is GOAT. I believe Maradona is GOAT. I believe Pele is GOAT. So that's
So
my
basically,
argument.
a World Cup is needed.
Exactly. With that World Cup, I cannot see you because my eyes cannot see you. You know, okay, you could be the best or greatest club players, but not the greatest footballers for me.
You need that World Cup, bro. You need that World
Yeah,
Cup. All right, let me
yeah,
hit the
yeah.
super chat from Natsa. He says, thank you for the super chats, Natsa. Real on those 3 years won La Liga. Cristiano carried. Natsa, that makes no sense because I can just turn back and say Real Madrid put their focus in playing in the Champions League. And I watched those Champions Leagues. Real Madrid performed really well. So they obviously upped their game and raised their game for that Champions League. Yes, Cristiano had a major contribution to that team, but that was also an amazing team. There's also an amazing team. And in none of those Champions League finals can I say Cristiano was the best player on that pitch. Never. Even when he scored 2 goals in the 2017 final, the best player on that pitch was Modric. So there you go. All right. Stodge.
Yeah, I'd say Ronaldo is definitely one of the goals. And I think there's a big issue here when it comes to UHH is your definitions. One, in order to be a GOAT, you need to have a great change in the game. Remind me, what exact, apart from winning the World Cup for France, what exact change did Zidane bring to the game? Because that's what you stated. Also, you stated you need to score in a final, but Maradona didn't score in a final. So he definitely has to score in a final. That makes sense. Ronaldo is without a doubt one of the GOATs. Let me start off with this. People are saying he had great teammates. Real Madrid were becoming before Ronaldo arrived. For a long period, all the players that were at the club, such as Modric, they didn't achieve anything. Marcelo's biggest achievement was getting humiliated 7-1 by Brazil. Everything that Marcelo has won, and all these players have won club-wise, they've only done it with Ronaldo. He was the only one that brought success and helped these guys learn how to win, led them to 4 Champions League, right?
Stodge, in that 2017 final. Wait. Stodge, in that 2017 final, who provided the assist for Cristiano? It was Carvajal for 1, Modric for another.
I just want to add over here.
You said scoring was
Start. Listen to me. You said Marcelo, right? Because, bro, Marcelo in 2014 final, he came from the bench. He scored goal. He has more impact on the game than Ronaldo in the final.
What did he win before Ronaldo? What did he do? What has he done outside of playing with Ronaldo? For Brazil, for anyone else, what has he done outside of Ronaldo?
Wait, guys. Because we're talking over issue. Let's Stodge finish this point. Easy. So, Stodge, let me just read the super chat and let's Stodge finish this point. Easy. Let me read the super chat and then I'll come back to you. David Coatsy, thank you for promoting his. Hey, Stodge, man, let me read the super chat, my guy. Please. God damn. From David Coatsy, thank you for the super chats, dear sir. Maradona actually cheated. He can't be a GOAT. Define cheats.
Exactly.
Stodge.
Using performance enhancement.
Stodge, can you please carry on with your Cristiano caping, man?
Anyway, second thing that you said is that they would have won the Euros. That's impossible. Without his goals, they would have reached nowhere near the final. That's a complete fallacy. It's a complete lie. It's a fact. How could you say they would have won it? And number 3 thing, you said, what has he changed? Let's be completely honest here.
3 goals.
And 3 assists. Dude, get your fucking stats right, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. Get the stats right. They would never have reached anywhere near a final without him. And
what did he do in the final?
Second thing you said.
No. Stodge, what did Cristiano do in the final? Tell me.
He put them in a position to win. Without him, they're not getting close.
Stodge, can you answer a simple question? What did Cristiano do on the pitch in the final to help his team win in the biggest game? What did he do?
Like Ronaldo always does, he instills a winning mentality into his teammates. These players are normally losers without him, but with him they become winners. That's outside of the Euros. What have they won? You tell me. What have they won?
So Stodge, you're not giving me any factual information here. What did Cristiano do on the pitch to help his team win? Because we saw what Zidane did.
What did he do? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Is a Euro made out of one game, or is it a number of games?
Oh, no.
It's absolutely no sense logically.
Okay. Do you want me to answer the question? Storge, do you want me to answer the question?
Number of
a Euro, like every tournament, is made out of a multitude of games that get harder as you go further into the competition.
What happens if
so scoring in a wait, let me answer the question, man. Let me answer the question. So a Euro is made out of a multitude of games, which gets harder the more you progress. So a second round game, so a quarterfinal is harder than a second round game. A semi-final is harder than a quarterfinal game. A final is harder than a final is harder than a semi-final game. So obviously, it's what do you mean by says who?
Dude, Germany in the World Cup in 2014, they struggled against Algeria in the round of 16. Then in the semifinals, they won 7-1. So what the fuck are you coming with these conclusions?
The final is the biggest game. That ends everything. The final is the biggest game. In whatever tournament you want to bring in, the final is when everybody plays at their optimum and their best.
H, I have a question. I have a question with you. I have a question for you.
Facts. I'm sorry. He did nothing.
Bro, well, in that case, Kante never won the World Cup. Then, in that case, Xavi never won the World Cup.
He faked the sickness and got off the bench. And got
if you use that thing,
but you see, but see, now this is the beauty of the conversation.
No. Don't change the goalpost. Don't change the goalpost.
Don't twist it.
Wait.
You have to
let me respond. This Kante isn't even in any GOAT conversation, which is why I say that for Cristiano Ronaldo, let him know his place. Of course, he has his place amongst top 20, top 25. But when we're talking about the creme de la creme, the very best, the benchmark is higher. Nobody is even discussing Kante anywhere near GOAT status. Nowhere near. But if we're talking, let me finish.
No, I'm not letting you finish, man. If we're talking
GOAT status, I am putting it for the highest benchmark. So, Cristiano, you want to be the GOAT? You want what requires to be the GOAT? I need you to do the very best. If you can't do the very best, get the hell out of my sight.
Wait. So, who came up with this? Who came up with this rule that you need to win a World Cup to be the GOAT? Who made that up? Is that an official rule? Is that an official rule? Is that in the law?
FG. Since the beginning of time of football, the World Cup has always been the biggest trophy in the world. The Champions League may have the most money and money star-studded teams. Since the beginning of time, the World Cup has always been recognized as this is the asset test. This is the great.
Okay. Then how come
Pele is not undisputed the GOAT? Why is he not undisputed GOAT?
Wait. People don't see Pele as a great because of what he did for Santos. They see him as a great based on what he did.
If it's up.
Dude, they say, they don't mention Pele Santos because no one wants that Santos thing.
Okay, wait. Let me get the super chat. So
you're saying that the World Cup is
Wait. Let me read the super chat, man. Please, God. No. So thank you for the super chat, Mr. The Real Deal. He says, name another player that was great in 3 decades.
Messi.
Pele.
Wait, but Messi's not the GOAT though. I mean, according to you, Juju man. And Juju man, weren't you the one, dude? Last week, Juju man said Pele's not the GOAT. He's playing against alcoholics and farmers. Now he's switching up.
Yeah, all of a sudden, World Cup matters today.
Double H clearly paying these guys to say some rubbish.
No, I said Messi's the GOAT.
Okay.
No. By your logic,
wait, guys, easy. Order the
agree with Juju, man.
Wait, Storch, finish. So Storch, round off your points so I can come to LG.
Yeah, my point is Ronaldo is definitely one of the top 10 players of all time. Actually, top 5. Maybe top 1, depending on how you see the GOAT and how you define it, and which competition you think
with
is
no World Cup.
Okay,
all right.
And this is the point. This is the problem I have. If you guys want to stick to World Cups and the changing of the nation that never achieved anything and leading them to become successful, then Pele is the undisputed GOAT. If you're not going to admit that,
Start in the conversation. Miroslav Klose is the greatest player of all time.
Wait, Storch. Wait, Stodge, let's take the World Cup out of it. You
brought the World Cup into
The only argument you have against both Cristiano and Messi is 0 World Cup knockout goals. Now you want the World Cup out of it.
Wait. Stodge, let me respond to you. Let's take the World Cup out of it.
Okay.
This man... Hey,
what has Maradona achieved?
Let me ask you a question. I said Stodge. Let's take the World Cup out of it. Forget it, just put it to one side.
Yeah.
This man offered zero contribution in the final game of the Euros. Pepe was the best player in that entire tournament and in that final.
No,
and
he wasn't, bro.
No,
He
no,
dude.
no,
Okay,
Give me my
Pepe
fucking
was
turn,
definitely
bro.
not
Give me
the-
my turn.
Listen,
Give me
Ronaldo
my fucking
offered
turn.
contributions, and
Give
he
me my
brought
fucking turn,
Portugal
bro.
their first. He brought them their first international trophy. He done that for a small nation with a population of 11 million. And you said let's put the World Cup out of it. I'm going to ask you a question. What has Mario Cup out of it? What's his achievement?
You want me to respond? Let me show you greatness. Wait, Stodge,
Take
easy.
the World
Let me
Cup.
show
You
you
said take the World
greatness.
Cup out of it. Go on.
Hey man, wait. Stodge, if you don't let me answer a question, then what's the point in asking me a question if you're going to talk over me? Okay, so you've asked the question. Let me answer the question. So I'll tell you what greatness is. Maradona didn't have the star-studded $1 million pound Real Madrid or Barcelona. Little old Napoli. They've only won 2 major titles in their entire history, and that came through Maradona. Real Madrid were winning Champions Leagues and trophies before Cristiano came.
No, they weren't, bro. They were getting round of 16 exits for the past 5 years.
So
No.
Real Madrid win a Champions League
That's
before
not true.
Dude, they were struggling.
Players like
No.
Ramos,
FG, you're wrong. FG, you're wrong over here. No, wait.
What's wrong, dude?
Bro, Madrid, no. Real Madrid has been always like Champions League royalty, bro. What's that?
No. You were getting
FG Cristiano joined a team that already won.
What do you mean by getting beat?
If you're so
getting
good,
beat, bro, Liverpool
join in Napoli, go win a league title with Napoli if you're so good. You already joined the
Napoli team, dude. You want to talk about Napoli's Maradona's Napoli? Dude,
Barcelona.
in his first season at Napoli, when they won the league title, Maradona had 0 goals, 0 assists against the top 5 teams in Serie A.
Cristiano couldn't win anything with Napoli. Maradona did. That is true greatness. You already joined a team that were already, as Monta said, they're already Champions League royalty. So you're not doing anything new. You're not doing anything new. They've already won the Champions League before,
but they never won it 3 times in a row. So what are you talking about?
In 10 years, how many La Liga titles in since Cristiano was at Real Madrid? How many La Liga titles did they win? How many?
There's 2.
Thank you. In what, 8 years? All right. That's good. Wait. Let me take the super chat. So from Yassi side, hey man, let me read the super chat, my dear friend, man. God damn. Yassi side, thank you very much for your super chat. It says Götze is better than Messi. HH logic. Said, I never said that. All I said is that Götze came clutch. So you could argue that maybe Götze is more clutch in a World Cup final than Messi is. But no way in hell would I ever say Mario Götze is a better player than Messi.
Dude, no one knows who Mario Götze is. He's a fat diabetic loser, bro. That's what he is.
Oh my god.
Bro, you're talking about Hazard, bro. You're talking about Hazard.
Okay, so
what's your obsession with these fat losers like R9 and Hazard? Are you fucking fat players?
FG. Okay, FG, the platform is yours. Feel free.
Okay. It's about damn time. I mean, my God. Okay, first of all, look, he's definitely one of the greatest players of all time. Top three at worst. For me,
with no World Cup.
I don't give a damn. Look, you want to talk about Zidane, bro? Zidane in 2017 said Cristiano is better than I ever was. That's your GOAT. Zidane just said that.
He's saying that to boost up his play. He doesn't believe that.
No.
Zidane doesn't believe that.
I mean, I'm sorry, but your GOAT just confirmed it. Secondly, dude, we're talking about the greatest Premier League player of all time, greatest Portuguese player of all time,
Premier League player. No, you said he was the greatest.
We had this conversation last week. He is the greatest Real Madrid player.
Greatest player of all time.
He's the greatest Real Madrid player, greatest Champions League player of all time. These are the hardest competition. He's the greatest. He took Portugal to the best situations they've ever come across in their lives.
FG. What did he do in the final? In the Euro final, what did he do?
He got injured and coached and motivated.
He got injured.
Eder said after the game.
So basically, he contributed nothing in the biggest game.
No,
Eder had to win it.
Bro, you know what Eder said? You know what Eder said after the game, right? He said Cristiano told me I would score the winner. That's what Eder said after the game.
Okay, and FG, what the hell?
That's contributing. That's motivation. That's helping the team.
So FG, you're so desperate to clutch at straws to try and give him something that you're telling me that a great contribution is waving your arms up and down on the sideline, and because a player said,
Dude, contribution, dude.
That's a contribution?
Portugal scored 9 goals in that entire tournament. Cristiano had 3 goals and 3 assists. So, dude, he literally took them to that final. And you want to talk about Pepe being the best player in that tournament for Portugal? Let me tell about Pepe in that tournament. How can Pepe be the Portuguese best player in that tournament when he conceded 3 goals against Hungary, against Croatia?
Exactly.
Portugal facing 30+ shots on target. A great defensive performance does not give your opponent that many shots on target. Again, same thing with Poland. Against Wales, it was Ronaldo who got them the job. I will give Pepe the final.
What did Cristiano do against Poland? What did he do against Poland?
He scored a penalty. He scored one of the winning.
Okay,
he scored a penalty.
There you go. Penalty. Okay.
Yeah, dude, it's a team performance. It's not, dude. Don't say Pepe carried that team when
no.
Every single Portuguese player defending for their lives.
No, Pepe was Portugal's best player. Cristiano,
dude, he was the best player in the final, but he wasn't.
So did charisma and everything. So but Pepe was Portugal's best player. But see, FG, my issue is that. FG, my issue is this: for a GOAT, I need you to show greatness at club level and international level. Cristiano,
then your R9 is not a GOAT. R9 is not a GOAT because R9. You want to talk about the Serie A? Dude, R9 and PSV. I'll expose your GOAT right now. R9 at PSV. Individually,
wait.
No. Let me talk. R9 at PSV, great individual season. Didn't help them win anything. The season he leaves, PSV wins the league against Barcelona.
Same thing happened in Barcelona.
Great individual season. He didn't win the league. Next season he leaves, Barcelona wins the league. Then he wants to Inter Milan, who literally spent the most amount of money in the European team. That Inter Milan team was stacked.
He won the UEFA Cup.
In the final day in the 1977 or 1998 Serie A season, all Inter had to do was beat Lazio and they win the Serie A. R9 choked for a stacked Inter Milan team. Then he went to the Galacticos. He had Zidane, Figo, Beckham, Raul, Roberto Carlos, Hierro, a stacked team, and he still couldn't win a damn Champions League. Then he got fat.
I think he also lost the league title to Valencia.
Milan and was running the bench. R9 club wise, he flopped. He flopped with all that talent.
He still has more World Cups
with injuries or without
injuries.
He still has more World Cups than your hero. He did not live up. He did not bring his
LG. He still has more World Cups than your hero. I know. It pains you. He still has more World Cups than your hero. But FG. Here's the thing, though. This is the key.
Wait. One more thing. For your GOAT, for Zidane, dude, you were on record 3 years ago. You said in one of your videos that before that 2006 game against Brazil, you did not consider Zidane as being one of the greatest players of all time. Even though Zidane scored in that 98 final, you still didn't classify him as a GOAT. So, and you're bringing up logic that Zidane, you need to score winners in World Cup finals, Euro finals to be a GOAT. You're being a hypocrite right now.
Wait. I'm going to respond to that. Let me get these super chats and I will respond to that. So from Yasser Saeed, he says that R9 had 0 UCLs and he's the GOAT. CR7's 5 is not. HH logic. World Cup is a bigger competition.
Not just 0 UCLs, but doesn't he have only like 1 or 2 major league titles? Maximum 2, I'm pretty sure. But
okay, so wait. Let me. So from Young One, thank you for the super chat, Mr. Young One. Says, how do you blame Cristiano Ronaldo for getting injured by Payet? Still tried to continue, and when he couldn't, motivated coach's team to victory. Now, see, guys, let me just be very clear because I think people are missing the point here. I remember watching it inside a pub and so forth, and I was saddened that Cristiano got injured. I was very saddened because it was painful and so forth. But I'm sorry, this is just a harsh reality. I deal in facts. And the facts of the matter is you had 0 footballing contribution in helping Portugal win that game in the final. I'm sorry. So I'm waiting for your crowning international achievements. We saw what Iniesta did for Spain. We saw what Maradona did for Argentina. We've seen what Zidane did for France, what Platini did for France. We see even what Torres did for Spain in 2008. Cristiano doesn't have a crowning international moment for Portugal. So therefore, he can't be put in the great conversation. He's a club great, a club goal-scoring great. He's not an overall great, because to be an overall great, I need that international crowning achievement. I need that club crowning achievements, and he simply doesn't have one internationally. He simply doesn't have one.
Okay, well then answer a question. Answer question, because I'm not sure if this is a question you answer consistently. Do you consider Messi a GOAT or a great player? Because again, he also is basically zero international success, and I think he's been about as average internationally as Cristiano Ronaldo.
I'll answer for you, bro. He thinks
No,
Okocha is better than
no,
Messi, bro.
You're
That's double H's logic.
See, Messi. The thing with Messi is this, and this is what I always said. If Cristiano, let's say, won a World Cup,
God,
I still probably would probably see him as a GOAT. I'll be like, because for me, he's an average player.
Okay, so you see, you just exposed yourself. You're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater.
I don't know, man. That ranks him up.
I am on record. If Messi had won that World Cup in 2014, I was ready to take off my cap and say, guys, here we have perhaps arguably the greatest player.
Wait, dude, everyone in this hangout,
and that's not the thing for Cristiano.
Everyone. So what's your stance on Messi as of right now? We cannot speak on the tangibles. So what's your stance on Messi?
No. So Messi as of right now is not an overall GOAT, but I call him a club GOAT, but not an overall GOAT. No.
Wait, so Double H, do you notice something? Everyone in this hangout has said Cristiano's a top 5 player or top 3, except yourself, which clearly admits you're a hater, and you even admitted even if he wins a World Cup, it doesn't matter to you. You still won't put him as a GOAT.
What this is about?
This conversation, we're wasting time. We're wasting oxygen.
No.
We have better things to do instead of wasting time convincing you.
This is what it's about. It's about if the media says something enough times, the people will bite it. They can't really fully think for themselves. Say, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense.
The media, what about actually?
You're talking about the recent years. Yes. I mean, he's not great overall football in recent years, but that doesn't take away from the fact that up until he was 29 or 30, he was a great footballer and still had many great moments in his career.
Tara, my argument is that because remember, I'm older than a lot of you guys. I fully remember Cristiano at Man United, and the issue was that when Messi was coming through, everyone knew that, guys, this is the next big thing. Nobody was viewing Cristiano at Man United the same way we're doing
right now.
I just want to interrupt you. I want to interrupt you.
Let me say this one thing. When Cristiano was at 22, when Cristiano was 22 at Man United, George Best said, he's one of the greatest players of all time, said Cristiano has surpassed me. I'm happy that one player is actually compared to me. And guess what? Henry even said George Best was one of the best players ever. So don't come up with this argument that he's, not compared. And Ferguson even said it during his early years that he would surpass me.
Cristiano was never at Man United. Nobody was ever looking at Cristiano as one of the greats. They never were. I
can literally say the same thing for Iniesta and Xavi. Iniesta and Xavi at 21 years old. No one said they would be one.
Cristiano's in great, but now you're saying that when they praise Cristiano, that it's media hype.
Exactly.
Wait. Say again, because I didn't hear what you said. Tara, say again.
So what I just said?
No. Sorry, wait, guys, we have to listen to where everyone's up because I can't hear everyone at the same time. Tara, repeat what she said from the beginning.
So you're saying that, so this is just my general impression of what you've been saying.
Okay.
So you're saying that when media did not consider Cristiano like an all-time great player when he was in Man United days, when he was 23 or so, that's fine. You agreed with that opinion that yes, that media is being right. But then when media says many years down the line that yes, Cristiano's a great player. Look at all he's done. And I'm not saying I necessarily agree with anyone. I'm not saying he's the greatest or anything. I'm just trying to see if this is like a contradiction or anything. When the media says that he's a great player, he's one of the all-time greats, you're saying that, it's media bias. People can't think for themselves.
Another exposure, man. Another exposure.
Let me respond to the guys. So my thing is, when Cristiano was at Man United, again, for me, media or no media, the very fact of the matter was that there was just a natural understanding in football that, this is definitely one of the best players out there. But we went looking at Cristiano the way that we were looking at Messi. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is the next dude. And when
maybe because everyone is different.
And media started to now create this whole thing, I was confused because I said, wait a minute. Why are they comparing these two?
Dude, Dude,
There's
you
no
make
comparison.
you make
One
dude,
guy
you make
is
no
seen as
damn
the
sense.
next coming.
Because
This other guy is just okay. He's a good attacking weapon. So Tara, I didn't understand how the media created this comparison out of nothing because it didn't make any sense. Because because from a footballing point of view, there is no comparison. Messi is on a different plans to Cristiano footballing wise.
Wait. So what about
I could say right now, but not
so
an
what about
all-time
Zidane?
What I realized is that okay, this is now about goal scoring and stats. It's not a footballing argument; it's a stats argument. But no, sure, this should be a footballing argument because again, Zidane and Maradona don't have any stats, but Zidane and Maradona are seen as the greats based on a footballing argument, not a stats argument. Because if we're having a stats argument, then why do we?
Dude, because we're living in a new era, dude. What the hell is wrong with you, man? Do you think people counted stats back in the 80s? No, we're different time, different generation. If if Zidane was in this era, he would not be considered an all-time great because you have to because people these days you have to put numbers, you have to have numbers and performances, and Zidane cannot do both of that. See, and this is the most demanding generation we've lived in because every week, because look at Hazard.
The guy's been injured for about his entire season, and everyone's been sort of pouncing on him because of that. I think it's fair, the amount of criticism that he's getting. I mean, you don't need that much KFC in one summer, but...
No. Basically, my thing is, now, look, people can say, okay, all right, we're now living in a different era of stats and so forth, but I would like to believe that football isn't American sports. So now, American sports is all about stats, and numbers and so forth. But I always believe that the beauty about football is that there are things that are beyond numbers. There are things that are beyond stats and so forth. Again, and this
wait, dude, you don't want to use stats, but you keep.
What I said is that
argument that Cristiano,
wait, guys, let me land.
All good players is not true.
Okay. Basically, what I've always said is like, for someone like a Messi, and this is where the difference comes through. Take away Messi's goals, take away Cristiano's goals. If you take away Cristiano's goals, you have pretty much a useless average player. If you take away Messi's
2014, though,
you have still one of the best players in the world. Sorry, say again, what? Cristiano doesn't do anything over 90.
Dude, Double H, you got 5 other dudes saying he does, and you're the only one who's saying that. So I'm sorry, but majority rules, majority wins.
But guys, it's like see, this is where in a footballing argument, we need to sit down and watch the games because I just wish that we had.
You want to watch the game, dude? Look at you want somebody. Okay, take away his goals.
Let me respond to my.
You're the only one saying that when he was at Manchester United and early Real Madrid, he was an all-around attacking weapon, and now you're saying for his entire career, take away his goals and you have nothing. I agree.
No. I never said that. See, okay, wait. Let me be clear here. At Man United, 100%. At Man United, 100%, he was a quality player. So there were more to his game than goals.
So but what about Real Madrid?
3-4 years, when he's adapted his game, take away his goals, you're looking at an average player who does not excite you in the least.
Oh, please.
You take away Messi's goals, you still have the arguably the best player in the world alongside Neymar when he's up.
I agree that overall Messi has stayed the more complete player, but that does not discount from the fact that Cristiano was a complete player for quite a bit of time himself. I mean, like...
Juju, back us on. You said 2012 Ronaldo was the best season.
Tara, that may be true, but in football, aren't we always living in the now, not in the 5 years ago? So if we're living in the now...
When we're talking about growth, we're factoring in their overall career, right? I mean, this is what I'm assuming, because let's say we're using Maradona. If we're only factoring in his 2 seasons at Barcelona when he was constantly out with hepatitis, then would he be considered a GOAT? No. I mean, we're factoring the overall career, if I'm not mistaken.
Tara. Tara. Beautiful. Let's take Cristiano at his very best. Whether you want to say the Man United penultimate season, 2012 season, even Cristiano at his very best still wasn't as good as.
Oh my God!
No. For me, that is a bias argument. I can't think
that 2012 season is the most complete player.
I'll say. Look,
no.
You know how I rate. You know how I rate Cristiano now, but I'll admit that he's among the best players ever. Double H. He just is. He just is. and because right now everyone focuses on his goal scoring, but if you look at 2012, Messi aside, I think that was, I mentioned this at the beginning of the Hangout, that was the best individual performance I've ever seen that season in 2012. And as far as
his 2012 season was better than Messi's 2012 because he was actually
true
playmaking. His free
amazing.
kicks was amazing.
91 goals,
Heading.
23 assists.
No, we're talking about the complete, not just goals.
He was complete.
It was not just goals. 25,
kicks.
30 assists. I think that's more than Ozil has in a single season, bro.
Yes, he was complete. But as far as making him a goal, it just doesn't. I'm sorry, but he's up there.
But see, gentlemen, even if I disagree with you, calling him like he was one of the greats, the key question that we're having here is that can you call him one of the GOATs? Can you put him in?
One of the GOATs.
Yes, because the consistency. He's been playing at a top level.
Look, this entire discussion is farcical. Some guy on Twitter said it best. We're not going to convince this guy about Cristiano in any way, shape, or form. This has been a waste of about an hour. Let's be honest.
But my thing about this is that I am willing to listen to arguments, and what we've been trying to do with this because again, what we're trying to do in this discussion, I think what I'm trying to find out here, because for me, this is a generational thing, and this is what I'm slowly coming to realize is and again, the key things that see, I am not one of those guys because I was young at one point, so I'm not here to sort of demean people because they're younger and so forth. But generations view things in different ways. I don't view. That's why I say, you know what? Is how great was Pele really? Because when I look at guys in the 60s or the 70s who say no, Pele is the greatest player of all time, bar none, I can't understand that because they're obviously viewing the game.
Dude, if you don't understand it, why do you have him as a GOAT? It makes no damn sense.
Man. Come on, just let me land. So how I'm viewing is different. So for me, stats is definitely an element, but for me, there has to be a strong footballing argument. So when I think
we've been saying
we
that
just gave you that dribbling.
2014, Cristiano was a strong footballer. I'm not saying Cristiano's the greatest player of all time. I'm saying that you have to at least put him in the conversation. I mean, I don't think that's asking too much.
But Tara, you see, this is where it comes to when we're not having a footballing argument. We put stats to one side and we say, what do you do on the pitch? And based on what Cristiano did on the pitch, he isn't in the same galaxy as a Maradona or a Zidane.
You can put clips up of like 2012, 2013. I know you like Zidane, so I mean...
Look, Zidane and Maradona, footballing-wise, are among some of the finest footballers that we've ever seen. Cristiano isn't in that category. Messi is in that category.
He is.
And as I've always said, Cristiano is not in the same galaxy as Messi as a footballer. He simply isn't for the eye test. Put stats to one side.
Wait. I'm sorry, but I would look. Let me say this. Messi is a better dribbler than Cristiano, but I would prefer to watch Cristiano's dribbling with someone who does skills, step overs. Just a more skillful dribbler I would prefer to see than someone who can just one pass 5-6 players without doing anything. See, like, who's a better dribbler in your opinion? Look at Ronaldinho, dude. More people would rather watch Ronaldinho than Messi, but Messi's by far better than Ronaldinho.
Wait, see, FG now. This is a point where, again, it's those who've played football and those who've not played football. Preference doesn't mean anything. Messi's style of dribbling requires extremely high skill. It requires extremely high skill. So when you see and that's why I say there's a difference between Messi and Cristiano. Messi does things on a pitch where I'm like, oh my god, that is like an alien. Because when you've played football and you've seen that this guy is dribbling past 4, 5, 6 guys several times in a game. When you played football, you realize how extremely difficult that is. And what Messi is doing doesn't make any sense. And Messi just does things that are more inexplicable than Cristiano. Hence why you have to put Messi.
You very well know that I don't consider Cristiano better than Messi. My point is, that you shouldn't take away what Cristiano's been able to do. Just because Messi is better at dribbling, is better at other facets of his game, which he of course is, doesn't mean Cristiano's bad at it.
But Sarah, of course not. But see, like I have always said that you know what, there is an art to goal scoring. 100%, there is an art to goal scoring, and goal scoring is also part of you being a quality football player. And as I've always said, that the skills and attributes with regards to goal scoring, movements, anticipation, clutchness, finishing technique, and so forth. These are all skills, and I put Cristiano amongst the best at these skills. But there is a particular department and a compartment of goal scoring. So you have to compartmentalize.
Wait. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me.
The same exact time period post 2014 where he was a pure finisher.
Let me read the super
But
chat.
you're discounting everything before that. I'm not saying even then he was better than Messi.
And I will get back to you. Let me read the super chat and I'll get back to you. Ronnie Solango, thank you for the super chats. So is it Moo's fault that Cristiano is a worse player? Wait, whoever said that he's a worse player? No, it's not.
You made him defend. You made him defend like a. You made him defend like a.
Wait, I'll answer that one. He cost Madrid one trophy.
How? Oh, Jujuman, give me a break, more.
Inferior coaching in 2012. That was Madrid's Champions League. Mourinho was the reason they didn't win.
Dude, he had peak Cristiano and peak Ozil in his fucking hands, and he still couldn't beat.
Peak Ozil, peak Benzema, Di Maria. I mean, yeah, it was a good team. Like, it's a good team.
Okay, so basically, look, my thing here is. Sorry. Okay, so was it you, Storch, that you wanted to say something, or?
No, I was Terry.
Yeah. I'll just
okay. So,
like to ask
so Terry, you wanted to say something?
I'm talking about I'm talking about play styles and players' technical abilities. I'm sorry, I know that I was watching your video of Rivaldo, and no how is this guy better technically than Ronaldo?
Facts.
And honestly, I was starting to doubt the quality of football in the 90s. That's how much I wasn't rating this guy's technical ability. I know we're born in different eras, but I mean, if you're calling this guy a great dribbler, this and that, and you're amazed by his skills, and you're saying that Ronaldo hasn't got the technical ability, that's to me that sounds like absolute BS. Because I've seen Ronaldo throughout his career, and he completely, defecates on this guy's technical ability.
Okay, so to be clear, you're saying that Cristiano is a far better player than Rivaldo?
Yeah,
technically, without a doubt. I watched the highlights. It's not even close.
Okay, sorry. So you're saying that Cristiano is technically a better player than Rivaldo?
At everything.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
No, he's not. But with Ronaldo's consistency and performance in like the last 10 years, you cannot.
Juju man, watch his highlights. It's not even amazing.
Thank you. See, Juju man, consistency. Cristiano trounces Rivaldo, trounces him, destroys him.
Yeah.
Technically,
no.
Ability,
watch his highlights. It's not even amazing.
Touching Rivaldo.
But it doesn't mean anything.
It's touching Rivaldo.
No, but what's it called? Ronaldo has maximized.
His highlights are not impressive. I'm sorry. With the stuff he showed, it wasn't impressive.
Wait. This is where we have to understand the arguments that we're having.
Yes.
In terms of consistency, effectiveness, outputs, dependency, Cristiano, my gosh, he is miles better than Rivaldo.
Yeah.
But if we're not talking about just pure footballing ability, what we're able to do on a pitch, Rivaldo is on a different level.
Sorry.
The double H is what the important thing is naturally we know Cristiano had to put in a lot of work.
For sure.
The other players who are talented, but what he has accomplished with what he has, I mean, he's among the greatest. Like he is.
No.
Wait, Jujuman, you're getting close to hitting the nail on the head again to understanding the arguments. You see, it's like the Messi Cristiano thing. Messi was born with God-given talents.
It's easier
Cristiano
for you.
had some of that talent, but he was not born with as much talent as Messi. So it's basically easy. So he had to work hard for it. So Cristiano's thing, and I think the thing with his fans is that, my gosh, this guy worked hard. He put in the work and he combined it.
Dude, and that's not it.
You're a great hard worker, but you're simply not of the level of the creme de la creme, the true finest people who've made this game an art.
Wait,
You know,
so let me ask you this. Let me ask you. No, I have a question.
I appreciate the artists. I appreciate the artists. Okay, wait. Let me hit the super chat. Let me hit the super chat. From Usama Khan says, H, you're the goats of YouTube, but you've messed up today. Usama, we're having a conversation. Okay, so Natsa, you wanted to say something because I know you've been waiting.
I'll respond Double H. Well, before.
Wait, no. Wait, so Natsa has been waiting. Natsa, is your mic working, Natsa? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think it's working. Yeah, I was just gonna say that just because a player doesn't, I'm not a CR7 fan, but just because a player doesn't win, like, how am I supposed to rate the World Cup when the spectators that watch it are not actually football fans? They're just watching it because their country is playing.
It's a festival.
It's a festival. How am I supposed to rate it more than a Champions League? The Champions League is watched by people that actually love the game and then appreciate the game for what it was. And then when you say R9 is undoubtedly the best player in the world ever played, or one of the top two, and how the hell has he not won? If the World Cup is harder than the Champions League, how come has he never won a Champions League? Like, he played for one of the best teams in the world, Real Madrid, and he failed to win a Champions League.
He had a stacked Inter Milan team too.
I have a great. I've got a great answer to that. And so the Ronaldo point, 2 points. First point. Okay, I'm not judging, man. 2 points. So first point is this was after his knee injury. Wasn't the same player. That's the first point. Second point was, as I said, with the 06 World Cup team, okay, Galacticos and so forth, all because you have amazing players doesn't mean you have an amazing team. You have to have an amazing team. Having the talent there doesn't mean anything. Is who's the manager? What are the tactics? Are these the right players?
What? Dude, I can literally say the same thing for Ronaldo for Portugal. He doesn't have the right players. What the
my God. Yeah, let me ask the guy's question, man. So Natsa, the thing is that for Cristiano, and the thing with the Champions League, the Champions League World Cup point, of course, the Champions League is a big competition, and it definitely means something, you winning that. But it is, for me, it's easier winning a Champions League than winning a World Cup, because within the Champions League, you have a multi-million pound squad and team. Real Madrid can pretty much have first dibs over whoever they want because they're Real Madrid. For your country, you are stuck.
Can I say one thing? Can I say?
I'll get back to you. So, but in the World Cup, it's finite, it's over a short period of time, and there is less margin of error. So, therefore, it is far more difficult because you are not allowed to make any mistakes whatsoever because it is so finite. So, therefore, because of a higher degree of difficulty, it means more. And I always say for Cristiano, okay, I'll give you for 06, for 2014. 2018, you were the European champions. France were the European champions in you had Spain were the European champions in 08. They won the World Cup as well. France were World Cup winners in 98.
Okay, so what about Greece? Greece won the European Championship in 04. They didn't win the World Cup.
Give me a break.
No, dude, that's the same thing. Dude, what the hell is this logic?
Natsa.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, can I just one more thing? When you say that Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play the final with Portugal and he didn't help them win it, they were nearly gonna go out in the group stages when he scored defining goals to keep them in. So
your boy Pepe let in 3 goals.
There was some defining goals. I'm not the biggest Cristiano fan, but I rank him top 5 definitely. He cannot be disputed just because he hasn't won like in a World Cup, which his team is not even good enough to win. Let's be honest. Like, in maybe the last 5 years, I've had better players, but okay, the best player next to you is Bernardo Silva. Come on.
Okay. But Natsa, my thing is because, like, if we're looking at greatness, not a club GOAT or an international GOAT, just GOATs. And when I say GOATs, we have to say, what have you done internationally? What have you done club-wise? And Natsa, am I really in the wrong if I say Maradona is the GOAT because of his achievement?
I don't know.
You're not.
Wait. Let me ask you a question.
Let me add. My thing is that I feel that it is almost difficult for us to have an unequivocal GOAT because you can always pick at something. He doesn't have a World Cup, or he doesn't really have a Champions League, or he doesn't have. You can always pick at something, but I think
he's got less flaws than any other player, though. His flaws are far less than any other player. I can say countless things about Pelé. I can say countless things about Maradona. I can say countless things about Zidane. But Cristiano's only flaw is that World Cup, and that's basically it.
And he did nothing in a Euro final.
He won it, man. Give it
That's
up,
a
Louis.
flaw. He did not. He
Yeah,
did
but
not in the final.
you say that Ronaldo has been injured. He's been injured and he's been hampered by his chances of winning the Champions League because he was never as good as he was. Okay, Ronaldo got injured in that final, so how was he supposed to keep playing and actually win that final for them? Like, there's always two sides of the story. Like, you can say that, but you can say that as well. But there is always something that you can come up with and say against your argument. See, there's nothing called like a
no. See, Nasa, then see, this is me not pulling at straws. It's me not pulling at straws because even when Portugal won that Euros and everything, I wasn't thinking that, oh man, Cristiano. He wasn't even in my mind because it is for me. It is pivotal. It's important that your superstar is with you on that pitch. Not only with you on that pitch, he does something on that pitch in the biggest game. Not on the sidelines, not being a cheerleader. He is in with you in the trenches and on that pitch. He either gives you the critical pass, the critical goal, or the critical play, or he performs so magnanimously. He inspires you to win the football game on the pitch. That's what I want. That's greatness. Cristiano has shown it multitude of times club-wise. I will never take anything away from it. What he did in that 2017 Champions League final, hands up. Quality. Even his goal in the 2008 final, quality goal, 100%. I'll get his resume is pretty much unblemished.
There was another thing that you were saying before I came in. You said that Ronaldo was not being compared to Messi, but in that final, United versus Barcelona, people were talking about Cristiano versus Messi, and they kept mentioning it so many times before that final.
And Ronaldo won a Ballon d'Or before Messi.
Oh no. That's my point was. When my point was when they were both coming up. When Cristiano was
why did Ronaldo
let me answer the guy's
question.
When he was coming through the ranks at Man United, he wasn't being compared to one of the greats and so forth. When Messi was coming through, the discussion was we're seeing the next great player. That's what the whole.
Because he was very alike to Maradona.
I have a question.
Wait. Sorry, not to say again.
Because he was very alike to Maradona. Because people saw that.
Yeah, he's Argentinian too. They're both Argentinian, so it's easy to compare.
Okay, so I don't want to start meeting guys, but if you're going to talk over guys, I'm going to have to start meeting guys. Natsa, please say again.
I was going to say that because Maradona was undoubtedly in people's mind the best player ever played, and Messi was very alike to him. He was a left-footed player, and he scored a very alike goal as well. People were very easy to say, "Oh, this guy, he's one of the best. He's going to come up." But they don't have anyone to compare Ronaldo
to. Sorry, Natsa. Twofold. Yes, he was being compared to Maradona in the sense of Argentine. He's left-footed, but even more so than that. I think when Messi was coming through, there was just a general feeling that, oh, this is the next great. This is the guy that now follows Ronaldinho.
Okay, I have a question. Then let me. So Mbappe won a World Cup in 19, but you don't say this is the next big thing. This is the next guy. You don't say the same thing for Mbappe when you rate him so highly and he won a World Cup. So.
Oh, no, wait. That's why I call him the prodigy. It's just that he's very young now, but the idea is, Mbappe is probably going to be the guy that's... Because the idea is, goes from Messi to Neymar to Mbappe. That's the lineage. the lineage is...
And one more thing. I have two more things. One, he was being compared. He was compared to Figo. Ferguson first said that during his 2004 season, he was being compared to Figo. And secondly, if Cristiano is not that good as you say, how come all these young players, all these like Sancho, Mbappe, all these young players coming out and saying their idol is Cristiano when he's so great, and don't come up with this whole crap of he works so hard. No. If you say Messi,
wait, FG, do you realize that Pele, the great Pele, had David Beckham in his all-time 11?
I'm talking about influence and like these young players saying this is their idol. So how come he's not that great?
But FG, are you listening to what I'm saying? I'm saying that your point is null and void because the great Pele had David Beckham in his all-time 11. So all because you're
Beckham, the greatest crosser of the ball. Who wouldn't? If you were in the 98th minute in a World Cup final and you have a set piece, you would have David Beckham during that thing. not anyone else. You would have David Beckham in that set piece.
Okay, cool. But David Beckham should not sniff an all-time 11.
I mean, bro, everyone's got everyone has preferences.
I kind of agree with that.
Everyone has preferences.
Plus, this is
we can all have preferences. But basically, I said we can all have preferences and so forth. But putting David Beckham in an all-time 11 is ludicrous. But see, my whole thing here is this, and that's the whole thing. I think, as I said again, no one has convinced me, but I've now gained a better understanding as to where people come from within this. Because I think, look, it takes a mature person's place to be like, you know what, you have to decipher these things and look at what someone has done. Because when you're breaking down achievements and so forth, you're going to break it down in different kinds of levels. Now, I look at greatness and achievements at any particular level based on how I've grown up viewing football right now. But again, football has changed. The way that football has been viewed has changed. And I think what Cristiano and Messi have done, because again, when I was growing up, nobody was ever as consistent as Messi or Cristiano. We've never seen this kind of consistency. So this is something new. And I think based on this consistency and them winning these Champions Leagues, there's not been like a paradigm shift in terms of, okay, now how do we now critique these guys and everything? So, but I feel that at the end of the day, a bottom line thing of like stats, plays, and so forth is when you're watching a player play and see what it does over 90 minutes, that's where you have to say there's a difference between a great goal scorer and a great player. Because if we use the stats argument, then are we saying that Zidane and Maradona are overrated and useless?
See,
no. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, if they were in this era, they would not be as great. This is the most demanding era. This is the most demanding era.
I think you're right on the saying that. Look, let's be honest. Cristiano is probably not technically the best player ever, but for what he has accomplished, I mean, he's great, but for what he's accomplished, you cannot just throw him away. Say he doesn't have the best technical ability I've ever seen. He doesn't, but he's accomplished way more than probably all the players. Every player that has played the sport, he's accomplished also. The argument is legit that he's. I mean, some people consider him the GOAT because of his accomplishment. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have the best technique or he's cannot dribble five players, but the fact is he's accomplished so much. He has accomplished so much that he has to be considered among the great.
And not to mention one more thing.
Wait. Let me just take the super chats. I listened to some reports real quick. So David Coates says, eye test is subjective, stats are objective. But David, but the key thing about what makes football beautiful is that it's a game beyond stats. That's what.
Okay, so Double H, who would you
proud against VR? Because the beauty about the game is that it's those intangibles that you can only see via on the pitch. Now, let me. So
wait. So one question.
Let's watch man say, please. See, my thing here is that 100% achievement is a big thing and a huge thing. But I'm coming. So, gentlemen, you know what? I'm coming at this as a football fan. I want to be entertained. And I want to be.
Okay, everyone in this
guy's thing. So, and I do not deny Cristiano's achievements, but when I watch him play, he doesn't entertain me. He doesn't enthrall me. He doesn't.
Wait. Since when doesn't he not entertain you?
Now, let me be real with you. At Man United, you see, it's weird to see. At Man United, when he first came in, I was like, oh, guys, this guy is very exciting. Based on just how audacious his skills were and the kinds of things that he was doing. But Fergie said, bro, refine yourself, and so forth. So I think more so at Man United, I respected how effective he was. But again, based on a guy who I would just look and be like, you know what, this guy is an amazing football player. But it would always go to Messi. It always goes to a Neymar. Messi and Neymar, for me, I'm like, these are quality players. You see, for me, I can never say Cristiano Ronaldo is as good a player as Neymar. He simply is.
my
That's
God.
impossible.
But one thing
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
understand.
bro. This is what we're dealing with.
Can I just say this? Just let me say
Okay,
something.
wait, guys, one at a time.
Yeah,
Wait. Chill. I'm gonna go to Natsa, Jujuman, then Storge. Natsa.
Okay.
Then me, I have one more thing to say. Yeah.
I just want to know how tall is Cristiano Ronaldo?
6'2", dude. Every other great dribbler is less than 6 foot.
Exactly. How is he supposed to compare with dribblers? When I've never seen,
No.
I'll
explain, dude. If you're small, if you're a shorter player, you have low center of gravity, which means
Exactly,
it's easier.
like-
It's easier to dribble past players. If you're a tall player, it looks more stiffer on the eye.
And the other thing, double to respond, like, arguably Neymar is more talented, but he will never reach the height.
He will never reach. He will never reach Ronaldo's
He'll
level.
never reach.
See, exactly. That's why this whole technically gifted.
Yeah,
that's
that's
BS.
right.
It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
all about what you do.
You've even said it. You said it's 70% mentality, 30% talent when it comes to football.
And
You've said it yourself.
Yes, and
one more thing. I think Cristiano's longevity.
Where was that mentality at all these World Cups that he's flopped in? That's what I want to know. So, wait. Let me take this picture. Easy. Jujuman, I'll come to you. I'll come to you. So from Sean Walsh says, embarrassing. Cristiano is top 2 and second behind Messi all time. They've both surpassed everyone. And it's quite obvious. Put some respect. It's an age thing, Sean. It's an age thing because if you grew up watching a Ronaldo or a Zidane, you will view them very differently. So it's an age.
What about Ferguson?
Wait, easy. I said I'll go to Jujuman. I said I'll go to Jujuman, man. Jujuman, what up, baby?
Yes, the one thing I wanted to push back on your argument, double, is because with Ronaldo, he's like, we all know, like, Neymar's ability is among the best I've ever seen. But his career is a waste, and he'll never be regarded. He'll never be regarded as anything special. Like, because he's no expectation.
The only reason Neymar's injured is because he keeps doing skills and gets tackles.
No,
so,
it's just,
what did he expect? How is he going to be a great player?
He's not disciplined enough.
Dude,
he's going to get into the matter of time, but he's not disciplined enough. But
wait,
I'll land the FG. The one point is, with Ronaldo, his professionalism, he's accomplished so much because of, not because he's the greatest. I mean, he's the most talented player we've ever seen, because of his mentality, his professionalism. That's what makes him one of the greatest players ever. There are other players that have skillfully, they're way better than him, but the fact that he's accomplished way more than anyone, like probably a lot of people thought he would accomplish.
Even Messi, man, he's got interested. Even Messi.
Yes.
One more thing.
Let's go.
Wait, let me just take the super chats real quick because I didn't think some guys spoke. So from NXX, guys, why don't you just have a normal name like Ted, Fred, or Olo or Tom?
Bro, your name is Have Hope, man. Your name is Have Hope.
That's a bloody good name. NXX Yeezy says consistency over everything else.
I agree.
Okay, let me go.
Wait. Okay, I said let me because he's not spoken yet. So Glory United, do you have your mic? Glory United, do you have your mic?
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of this, so do you view Cristiano as a GOAT? If you do, why?
Yes, I view it as the GOAT.
GOAT?
No.
Jesus.
Cristiano is the GOAT because he has surpassed so many players. You cannot tell me like Rivaldo is better than him. You cannot tell me R9 is better than him. What has R9 done that has surpassed Ronaldo, Cristiano?
No. Okay. For Rivaldo, it's in terms of what we're talking about. But put Rivaldo away because he's not in the GOAT conversation. But you see, I use the example of a Maradona and as a Zidane. I believe that ability-wise, Maradona and Zidane are better because of what they do and contribute on the pitch. And I also say that they have performed and contributed in major, big-time finals in more ways than your boy Cristiano's done.
But when you say of ability, every player have different ability. Not every player is the same. Every player have their own weaknesses and strength. Like some people like Messi because of the dribbling. Some people like Ronaldo because of the skills. You know, the reason why we compare Ronaldo and Messi so much because they're so different. If Ronaldo and Messi were exactly the same, they played the same, the world would be boring, you know?
But the issue and the mistake and the fallacy to them being compared is that they shouldn't even be compared to begin with. Because as you say, they're so, it's like you wouldn't compare Modric to a Benzema. You wouldn't compare a
But they're two different players with two
you wouldn't
different
compare
roles,
a Lewandowski to N'Golo Kante because these are two totally different players. Like Messi is a playmaking goal scorer creator. Cristiano is a goal scorer who
Just
makes
a goal scorer.
But remember, Cristiano is a guy who naturally began as a winger, then evolved into.
No, he started as a midfield. He didn't start as a winger.
Yeah, he was a right midfielder.
Okay, yeah, right, but he got known. He got known for being a winger. That was when he began to be truly effective. Was as a winger. Then he evolved into an inside forward.
No, dude, he was.
What do you mean?
Inside forward.
When Ronaldo was at Sporty against Man United in the friendly, the whole Man United players said we got to sign this guy when he was a midfielder.
Not to mention,
he scored goals against Porto, one of the top Portuguese clubs in Portugal.
Not to mention, Cristiano made.
He just didn't spend a lot of time in Portugal.
Cristiano at 19 made the UEFA Team of the Year in 2004 at 19 with the likes of Maldini, Nesta, Henry, and 19 years old. And you're telling me this dude was not known as one of the best?
Also, not to mention that Ronaldo has been competing with a guy that's been on steroids since the age of 8.
not to mention.
What other player in history has competed with a dude that's been basically put on PEDs till he was about 8, and is probably still on it now, and has come up on top? Or one of the greatest ever that's ever competed with anything like that. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not even fair for any player to compete with Messi.
Wait, the competition. It's a goals competition. It's not in terms of.
Wait, double.
No. I'm sorry. You're saying that people.
Ability-wise between Messi and Cristiano, there is goals-wise. That's a great.
Let me make.
Ability-wise, there's no comparison.
The point. Okay, listen. At the end of the day, Barca, before Messi even became a professional, hundreds of this guy's medical expenses. He better become a goal. Otherwise, Frankenstein of football. Of course, he was going to become one of the greatest. This guy has been pumped with all types of drugs. I cannot wait for when this guy's drugs and the PEDs that he's taken has been leaked.
One more thing.
Who talking about?
It's going to be. I'm talking about Messi.
Messi.
Listen, they pumped so much drugs into him. Of course, it's going to be.
Can I say something?
One of the best. Exactly. They still pumped it into him. I mean, I don't know what this guy's on. He's probably. I heard he's still on it. Honestly,
wait.
Footballers get checked every year. They get checked every year for any kind of drugs.
Listen,
and he's been checked every year. So he's not have anything.
No, that's fake. Because that's fake. Because a lot of managers have actually complained. Even managers of their own club.
Zidane admitted that they used to have steroids the last 70 games a season.
Okay, this is the propaganda. Like seriously, we have resorted to.
Gentlemen, are you going to say something?
Yo, can I speak on that last part? This whole drug idea.
Please.
This idea that Messi is that drugs, HGH, somehow improves your first touch, somehow improves your vision, somehow improves your goal scoring.
Listen, he'd be a dwarf.
Is an
dwarfs don't play professionally, mate.
Honestly,
dwarfs don't play professionally.
Listen,
okay, let me ask you.
Ronaldo took a particular type of steroid for a heart condition. Should he not play professionally? Of course he should. It was a condition, a diagnosis that he got by doctors so that he took a particular drug to get up to par with other people. He would be 5'3". This HGH issue is common. It is a common issue among millions of people throughout the world. So should they not get a chance at whatever profession they're going into because of these particular drugs? It is a stupid argument that you should. It's a joke.
No. He asked me that. Let me answer. Let me answer, please. Let me answer. This is the point. It's been proven, and there's long documents that if you're taking HGH as a kid till the age of puberty and you're still taking it, it's just so much of an unfair advantage when it comes to recovery, right? Agility and so many other things. And bone density is so much of an unfair.
Messi had agility and all those attributes prior to the training.
No, but it gets enhanced. It gets enhanced. It's so much of an unfair advantage that I believe. Listen, if you're just going to be an average kid, but if you're aiming to be a professional athlete, that's just so unfair. And all the other athletes that you get to take
how is it unfair? It is not.
It's unfair. It's unfair.
I think
look at the research.
Change the
it's
topic,
unfair.
man. Change the topic.
We're going way off here. No, but basically, look. First of all, this is just going way off because I didn't want to bring into a Messi Cristiano thing. Actually, so Sean, because I want Sean and Crisis to sort of round off and then so Sean, your view, do you view Cristiano as the GOAT or one of the GOATs?
He's a top 2 player ever. He is behind Messi, in my opinion, for not only longevity, but even in the early years of his career, he was one of the more technical players. He was one of the more talented players. There's a reason why United got him at such a young age, and he was prolific for Sporting. I mean, he did start off as a midfielder, a right midfielder, and then he turned into a winger, and then he became an inside forward. He's one of the most adaptable, versatile players in the history of the game. He's one of the most, and there's a lot of technical ability associated with finishing, in which he is one of the best finishers ever. So take that into account, plus his longevity, plus the accomplishments. He's by far surpassed everyone except for Messi, in my opinion, because I think Messi has the contributions from a talent perspective.
But Sean, can you give me an explanation as to why no World Cup and he contributed nothing in the Euro final?
Right. So there's 101 contingencies associated with winning a World Cup. You need your team to perform at a high level, and also there's luck also associated with winning international tournaments. There just is. Remember when Spain won the 2010 World Cup? I think they beat every team by 1 goal or so. Had Robin scored.
Yeah.
So you have to take into account.
Wait, because Sean, David Villa came clutch. David Villa was there and he kept on coming clutch.
Of course, David Villa came clutch. But the thing is, how can you? Swap Ronaldo and David Villa teams. How would David Villa do with that Portugal team in 2014? How would David Villa do with that 2010 Portugal team?
No, but wait, Sean. You see, Sean, that is impossible to know. But you see, the issue, and this is where we'll be coming here. When you look at 2018, and that's World Cup, because I remember even looking at the Uruguay game, and as I was looking at the Uruguay game, I said, if they don't give Cristiano the chance, Portugal ain't scoring in this game. Because Uruguay were like, no, you're going to have to now try and actually figure it and actually try, because we're going to stop the supply chain and we're going to restrict him into the wing. So when I say for Cristiano, it's like, well, the Cristiano of the last few years is that he's a finisher, a pure finisher. He's not a guy who can take the ball, get past 3, 4, 5 guys and make something happen by himself. He needs a functional system in order to make something happen. So that's why when I saw that, especially that game against Uruguay, I was like, nah, man, they figured out Portugal because their star man is dependent on being provided for.
And the team is dependent on him. What the girl? It's vice versa.
Well, I mean, well, listen. This also, when you say system player, you have to take into account that every player ever in the history of team sports plays in a system. Therefore, through obvious deductive reasoning, every player is a system player. R9 was a system.
No.
By the way, R9 played with a far.
R9 was amazing for Inter Milan, Brazil, and Barcelona. How is he a system player? Pirlo was amazing for Juventus, Italy, and AC Milan. How's he a system player?
But my point is every player plays in a system.
No. When I say a system merchant, is you only truly excel in a particular kind of team. That's what I mean by system merchant. Hence why there are players who are adaptable.
Right, systems and tactics change over time. Between every manager has their own tactic and philosophy, pretty much.
And plus, man, that Portugal Uruguay game, that was just a bad matchup for Portugal.
So yeah,
It's all about matchups.
And Portugal historically haven't been good against South American teams. You can even look at the Confederations Cup; they lost to Chile. So the thing is, I'm not saying that. Listen, I don't think you have to win a World Cup to be the greatest. I just don't.
You have
because
to.
I think that the greatest is a combination of longevity.
There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Sorry.
Of course,
you can't change the rules. That's how it has always worked.
These are rules you've made up. These are not defined rules. Because if they were defined rules, everybody would be in agreement.
This is since the beginning of football. This has always been the rule. You can't just change the rule to suit things because things are not. Since the beginning of football, the World Cup has always been the number one tournament.
Dude, I could say
that ever since the beginning. Before any of us
bro, isn't the FA Cup longer longevity-wise more historic than the World Cup? I could literally say the same thing for the FA Cup.
It's not about longevity. It is how the footballing world sees a particular tournament. The footballing world has seen the World Cup. The reason why Pele is seen as the greatest. The reason why Pele is seen as the greatest is because of the 2 World Cups he's won and the 2 World Cup finals that he has scored in and the 2 World Cup finals he has performed in. Not because of Santos. It's because of what he's done in the World Cup. That's why
because no one saw him play at Santos. That's why.
I don't like this idea that a once every 4-year, 1-month tournament is going to usurp the totality of somebody's career.
Sean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
No, but the thing is, in the context of this debate, it is what it is. Otherwise, you wouldn't entertain this idea. You obviously knew everybody else's point when talking about Cristiano. It isn't just based off of a World Cup. It has to be the totality of their entire careers. Yes, R9 had a better international career. You could argue that. Yeah, he did. But Cristiano absolutely annihilates Brazilian Ronaldo in their club careers. So if you're gonna weigh both, if you're gonna take a percentage of their international career,
Wait, Sean, easy. I never brought R9 into this GOAT conversation. I said R9 is the best player I've ever seen. The GOAT conversation is let's look at Zidane and Maradona. Conversation.
No, I understand. You don't think you have a nostalgia in your case? There's a lot of nostalgia associated with your points. Like you don't think you're biased at all on this? Because you're still ignoring. Listen, even with Zidane and Maradona, Cristiano still has a far better club career than both of them.
But Sean, my thing though is I look at you can look at consistency, but you can look at achievements and the weighting of achievements. For me, what Messi did with Napoli is greater than what Cristiano has done with Real Madrid, because Real Madrid were already winning and known as winners before Cristiano got there. Napoli have won nothing before Maradona came in there, and since Maradona has left, Napoli have won nothing since. That's greatness.
Of course, it's greatness. Nobody's denying that. But what's also greatness is playing at the highest levels for 13 years and having to. And I know that Ronaldo, post 2014, when he had that knee injury, or post 2015, he had a knee injury, I believe. Was it 2016? After you probably correct me because you love him.
He had a knee injury 3 weeks before the Champions League final in 2014.
Yeah, and it was 2014. After that, it was quite clear he was more limited from a dribbling perspective. But prior to that, at 2012, Ronaldo was a combination of power, pace, speed, insane dribbling, finishing, and he was an insanely good playmaker for a winger. Now, was he as good as a playmaker as Zidane, Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi? No. But for what he brought to the game, apart from just playmaking, is why you have to take that into account. Was he as technically gifted as Zidane? No, but Zidane wasn't even close to Cristiano from a goal scoring perspective at all. I mean, you can argue that Zidane obviously was a midfielder, and the whole point of his game was to create. But Ronaldo also created a lot from out wide. So Ronaldo has been more adaptable than Zidane. He's been more adaptable than R9 throughout their careers. You can say that they're more technical players.
Zidane got bossed by Roy Keane at the Juventus Stadium in 1999, bro.
Right, but then again, if you can't use these one-off games, I'm trying to take into account the totality of their careers, a combination of their international competitions, a combination of their domestic competitions, a combination of their talent and what they've accomplished. You add all of that together. It can't just be so black and white. Otherwise, what's the point of analyzing if it's just black and white? You have to take all things into account. When you take all things into account, it is so clear and obvious that Cristiano has surpassed Zidane and R9, in my opinion, and Maradona. It's just
but Sean, my argument is that as a player, he simply hasn't had the kind of impact that Zidane has had as a player based on what he's done.
Every
on the
young
pitch.
player looks up to Cristiano.
Wait.
How's that?
I want to bring you Christ. I want to bring you Christ. So Christ, what's your views on this, Christ? Christ? Hello, Christ? Are you there?
Oh, no, we can't hear you, Christ. I think he's trying to get through.
Okay. Well, obviously, we can't hear the dude. So Lee S, do you have anything to add to this based on what guys have said? Have they altered your points then, Lee S, from what you've heard? Lee S? All right.
Lee S.
So any last final points from anyone?
He's the GOAT, and we wasted 2 hours and 9 minutes and 44 seconds.
Not from you, Jujuman. What?
True. Like I think you should consider putting Cristiano as in your top 5. First of all,
No, never, impossible, never. Never, no way, no. Hell no.
Wait, first of all, you need to update the horseman, like change it. Don't you dare.
I have a question for you, and it's obviously it's not in regards to you guys have talked for the last hour and a half, 2 hours about this whole thing. I want your opinion on this about what to do with the Pele Avi said with the whole HGH thing and associated with athletes. Can you explain to him that football isn't just based on physical attributes? How does HGH? I'm curious because how does HGH improve Messi's vision, touch, and everything that's a part of his game?
It improves like the recovery and all that.
Sean. No, wait. Okay, easy. Let me answer that. Easy. Let me answer that. See, Sean. And herein lies the difference in viewpoints with regards to how people view and appreciate football. The guys who appreciate the technical aspects and guys that appreciate the physical aspects. HGH has absolutely nothing to do as to why Messi is so good. What Messi does on the pitch is completely
natural. My God.
Dude, I'm curious. Who do you support, Pele? Or whatever who do you support? What team do you support? What club do you support? I'm curious. And what's your footballing background? What makes you an expert? What makes you an expert on HGH? Do you even know?
HGH is simple science. Listen, I can list
simple science. Where's the PhD?
You're not
I'll put sources into the chat.
Wait. Yes or no? You can't make allegations.
I cannot make allegations.
You don't have
Barcelona have. There's no facts out there.
No. These are allegations. Yeah. No. Okay. No. So wait. Look.
The delusion on this guy.
Wait. Let me just explain this. Let me just say this right now, because obviously we can crack jokes and everything, but in all seriousness, these are allegations. Unless you bring me hardcore evidence as to this whole HGH thing, all you are doing is just being an internet Twitter reporter. Because an internet Twitter reporter can say, takes drugs.
It's fact.
He takes drugs, and I'm sure that I can go into some kind of weird website that says that Cristiano takes drugs and he has been cheating. Hence why he can jump so high, because he takes drugs. So what are we doing here?
This is fact.
What are we doing here? So you say Messi takes HGH, I'd say Cristiano takes drugs.
Has Messi not taken it?
So what are we doing here?
Has Messi taken it, yes or no? You're saying I'm making up stuff. He's taking it. Even Barcelona admitted it. In fact, everybody knows this. It's no hidden information.
He took it up into a particular age, and then he stopped taking it when he was up to par.
Okay. You're saying that.
And by the way, you didn't study enough on HGH, because HGH has, by the way, HGH has long-term negative effects on athletes. Messi is well into his 30s and still performing, and he doesn't take it. There is no documented proof that beyond 20 years old he was taking HGH.
Do you know what the benefits are?
Look, start. Please, look, this guy, he's going off the rails. Okay, look.
Wait. He had the benefits, man. You should have let him speak.
No. We're going off the rails. Basically, guys, it is what it is. This was a good debate. I think this was a good, healthy debate and stuff for us to be able to get into this and then sort of develop our viewpoints.
By the way, hated. But before you finish, Christ has wants to speak and he hasn't got the chance to speak.
Who?
Christ.
Christ. He's in the chat
Bro.
right now.
Okay, all right. Christ.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Come on, bro. Don't bottle it in the last minute.
I mean, nah, that's what you call bottling, bro. That's what you call bottling. All right, guys, look, guys, it's been good. It's been swell. I will see you guys next week. Peace out. Stay true. Stay real. I'm out. Peace.
All right.
All right.